I might have to hate you if you did that.
Yeah, well...
I might have to give you up. If you made a young lady climb over a railing to go to the bathroom because you're that weird about letting somebody go to the bathroom, I can't know you. I can't know you. I can't. It just won't happen. I gotta go take a Valium now.
All right.
Did you really?
Yes.
I'm so upset. Okay, love you.
Love you,
Bye.
Mom. Bye.
Scoot doo, blabbity blue, scoop dee. Oh yeah.
I don't know yet. You look good here, but I'll let you know. All right, I'm brushing my teeth, and then I'm good. So if you'd like, introduce the next guest as if it's not you. Could you do that for me?
I could try.
How's everybody doing? Make some noise. Sosie, you have been here for about 45 minutes now. So, thank you. Oh, I'm too loud. For people that have been watching this podcast religiously, you've probably heard me start the last 5 or so now the same way, which is doing this balcony series. The setup is invasive. Before you got here, I had to put on my outside clothes, and so I could touch the wires, do my disinfecting, move the stuff, set everything up. I have to make a couple trips in and out because I have to get the microphone, the blah, blah, blah. Every time I do that, I have to change my socks. Then you got here. You know what? I would love to get your perspective, and then we'll jump into the podcast. So relax. What happened? Would you explain what happened when you got here and your take on it? If it was annoying or if you understood it?
No, I didn't think it was annoying.
Oh, you know what? The problem is I'm having the outside. The cars are so loud. Yeah, I think I could lower your mic if we could bring it towards you more.
Oh, yeah.
Cheat it however you need to.
That good? No, wait, it's got to be higher because it lowers
you can hear
a
it.
little.
You can
yeah,
hear
no, I can hear it. Oh, now I can hear the cars.
Yeah, it's so loud out there.
Is this better? Check.
Yeah.
Is that good? Because I know you're not coming out here.
Yeah, it's good now.
You're going to have to give me notes on what to do with this.
All right, it's good. Okay.
Okay, well, did I think it was annoying? No. I decided to come without socks because it's kind of like a gloomy day outside. And I wore these boots. And I can't wear socks with these boots because they're, like, my feet are kind of wide. So I have to not wear. Yeah, I know. It's really sad.
Oh,
No.
we'll bleep out the word wide and also bleep out when I just said it.
Okay. That's not a good word.
A woman doesn't want to have wide feet.
Of course.
Bleep that one as well.
You're right. How am I ever going to find a man?
I don't know. I guess walk a mile in their narrow foot shoes. Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't wear socks, and then when I got here,
I can't do this. This isn't gonna work.
Really?
It's too loud.
Are you serious?
I mean, no. I'm just.
I mean, it's not gonna be that bad. People will just have to hear it. You know what I honestly find so annoying is when you go in to do ADR and like you have to ADR everything because there's like a noise from outside, and it's like there's really noises from outside when you're outside.
Yeah.
So I feel like people just have to deal.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I didn't wear socks with these shoes, and when I got
I told
here,
you, I did say that you're gonna have to come in, take your shoes off,
right?
Walk through the living room.
I didn't. I guess in my head, I didn't put together that meant that I shouldn't wear socks.
Well, I guess now.
I mean, I should wear socks.
I guess the reason I wanted to bring it up is edit everything out is I made you wear a pair of my socks.
That doesn't bother me.
Great.
Nothing really bothers me when it comes to like using other people's things or like cleanliness. I don't have I like it when my house is clean, but I'm not like a big cleanliness person. I mean, like, I shower a lot, but, like, it doesn't gross me out. Very, very, very few things gross me out. I can tell you what they are, if you want to know.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Should we ask? Should she tell us? Come on. You can do better than that. All right. Yeah, Sosie, tell us what it is.
Okay. Just because the crowd wanted it. The only things that gross me out are other people's, like, loogies. That's it.
Oh, you had a list cadence.
No, that's it. Sorry. That's all. So, like, poop doesn't gross me out. Pee doesn't gross me out. Throw up doesn't gross me out. Other people's things don't gross me out.
Put your hand out for a second. But it would gross you out if you spit?
If it was like a loogie.
Let's see what it looks like.
Like if it was like from the inner depths of you coming out of your mouth, not like just like.
So this wouldn't bother you. Put your hand out. Yeah.
Are you just doing this to fuck with me?
That would be funny if I don't animate any of that.
I mean, if you put that on there, me trying to act like there's like that would be so fucked up.
Just look a little something like this.
And we're back.
So
was that all right? Do you have any notes?
That was fine.
Got any fucking notes? That's my question. I mean, honestly, like that is the most humiliating. Is there a goblin? I've watched some of them.
Yeah. So
there isn't.
Yeah, there's a goblin. Cheer up. You know what? You need a little goblin cheer up dust.
You know what? Do you never touch your face?
I touch my face when my hands are decontaminated as they are now.
Got it.
Yeah.
Do you touch it like a lot?
I probably touch it as much as the average person with glasses.
Right.
Which is probably 70 times a day.
Got it.
Yeah. How's this going?
So good.
So you're not grossed out by things, but you do get embarrassed by
like if
like
you're
being fucked
asking
with.
me if you're asking me to act and I'm like doing it seriously and then there isn't like that is embarrassing. Like you know that's embarrassing. That's why you're doing it. There's no goblin.
There's a goblin.
No, there isn't.
All right. What do you guys think? You think there's a goblin?
No.
Come on, we can't hear you.
Actually, I'm looking forward to that.
All right, Sosie.
But no, I don't get grossed out by things, but yeah, I do get embarrassed. Okay, sorry. Sosie, what?
Let's talk about how we met. It was we doing a television show together.
Yes.
Is the show picked up?
Are we allowed to say that?
I don't know.
I mean,
Aren't we?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's picked up.
We
got informed that it was.
Yeah.
Nice little Zoom call.
Yeah.
Little happy Zoom. I was like, I fucking hate Zoom. I hate it.
Why?
Because it's just awkward and like nobody knows when to talk, and then when they do talk, it goes to the next person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this isn't like a revolutionary thought. I'm just.
So you're saying you hate it just because, but like you would rather be in person.
No, I would rather just not have it. I would rather
an
just
email.
But I'd rather do a call because then you know that's going to be awkward. But like a Zoom, you have to see everyone feel awkward.
Right. The Zoom is. I connect with that. That's why I started this balcony series, because Zoom podcasting, so much of it. Oh,
It's horrendous. Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
I just.
Wait. It's all that, you know?
Yeah, I know. No, oh, you're saying the Zoom. Oh, no, sorry. I just, like, went like that and got, like, spit in my throat, and I thought that's what you were talking about. Never mind. Yes, I agree. This is kind of feeling like a Zoom right
What's
now.
going on with you? What are you feeling right now where you're not comfortable yet?
No, oh, you're saying I'm not comfortable?
It seems that way.
Oh, God. I hate it when people say that.
You hate it when they say it and it's true, or you hate it when they say it even if it's not true?
Even if it's not true, because then you start to get in your head and think that you're
I think you have
acting.
something in one of your hair right here.
Are you lying?
Oh, no, it was
I
a,
see
it was a
myself
light.
in the reflection.
Okay, so you don't like when people think you're uncomfortable.
No, I hate it.
You know, it's funny, we went right from things don't gross you out, but things do make you uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, 100%.
'Cause
Do
I don't-
things make you uncomfortable?
I don't get uncomfortable that much, but everything grosses me out.
Oh, okay, so we're like opposite.
Yeah. Do you feel completely comfortable yet? I don't think you are yet, and which is making me so much more comfortable.
I hate that. Because then when you say that you don't think that I feel comfortable, that makes me even more uncomfortable because then I'm in my head like, what am I doing that gives off the impression that I'm not comfortable?
Does that psychology transfer over to you as an actress to where when you're getting direction or feedback, it's powerful for you? Like do you think that everyone wants positive feedback, but do you get thrown off if somebody tells you something that is a critique?
No, definitely not. But I think that's because I prepare. It used to, but now I like prepare so much and get myself as ready as humanly possible so that I can sort of like prevent myself from getting thrown off by critique.
How long have you been acting?
I started when I was 21. I started auditioning, and I'm 28, so 7 years.
Did you always want to be an actor?
No, I mean, I kind of didn't want to do it for a while. That was like kind of my thing because my parents are both actors, and I was like, I'm not going to act.
Yeah.
I don't want to do the same
Your parents
thing
are very,
as them.
very well-known actors.
Yeah.
Kyra Sedgwick and Kevin Bacon.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that, I whenever I do what I'm about to tell you now, I always call it out because it makes me uncomfortable.
Well, I thought you didn't get uncomfortable.
It makes me uncomfortable if I don't acknowledge it.
Okay, got it.
And that's why I have to do this, which is sometimes I tell my guest exposition that they know that I know, and we both know that each other knows it, but the audience doesn't necessarily know it.
Right, of course.
And I keep forgetting what I have to do is, instead of saying your dad is this and your mom is this, what I should be doing is looking to camera and saying her dad is this, her mom is this. But I don't do it, and then I get uncomfortable. It's like...
I'm happy that you said it because what I don't like is when people ask you, hey, can you say who your parents are?
Sure.
Because that is, I'm like, it just makes me feel awkward. Like, I don't want to say that.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like I don't know why.
Yeah,
it feels like I'm I'm bragging or something. I don't know. It's weird.
I think that makes sense. I think it touches the same place as name dropping. Even if it's a parent, it's still...
Yeah, exactly. Which is like I'm allergic to it.
I don't know if I'm going to show this at the beginning because when Sosie first got here, it took me 20 minutes to brush my teeth and get all the wires clean and everything. And I asked her to, while I'm brushing my teeth, why don't you just give yourself some credits and talk about what you've done? I said that as a joke, knowing that, like, of course that's an uncomfortable thing to do. Oof, excuse me. But, so your parents are successful actors, and you want to not do that? Because I feel like with sports, like the sons or daughters of athletes want to do what their father or mother did. They want to play basketball or whatever. But in acting, they kind of want to do their own thing. Mm-hmm. Why would you feel like... Because you do have such a leg up. Mm-hmm. Why would you not want to do that? And then what made you decide to do it?
Yeah, I think it was kind of just that. I was like, if I act, I'll always... I guess, well... I don't know. I'm not really exactly sure why I didn't want to do it because it was kind of like the only thing that I had a lot of fun doing and that made me happy when I was like younger in high school and stuff.
So you were doing it in high school?
Well, yeah. I did plays and everything.
Right.
And like most of the things that I loved about doing plays, like I did love to perform and stuff, but I also loved just the like friendships that you make with everybody who does it with you. That sort of like intimacy, community. That's what I really, liked about that. And then once I graduated high school, I was like, well, I just don't want to... I thought that would be this route to take, that I would always feel like I always had a leg up and I didn't get it fairly. But then, you realize in your life that if you're a white privileged woman, you have a leg up on everything. So I'm not going to, I'm not going to not do what I love just because that's, I'm going to do what I love and try to do my very best at it and kind of like see what happens. And at that point, I didn't have any other options because I tried a bunch of other things and just like they all made me miserable. So I was like, I want to do the thing that I love to do.
Was there a moment you're like, I want to do this?
Yeah, it was like I went to this musical theater program one summer. I only went to college for 2 years. So after the first...
What did you study?
Drugs and alcohol
Okay.
consumption. I didn't didn't study
DAC.
anything. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I was just partying my ass off, and it was and not happy at all doing that. And then
Where'd you go to school?
Brown.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I hated it. And I felt like, God, what am I doing here? Like, there's people that are so much smarter than me that, you know, are working hard here, and I'm just like wasting everybody's time.
And so you're wasting everyone's time.
Yeah. So then I did a musical theater.
So disrespectful the way I just did that. Yeah. Okay. So
yeah. No, it's fine. I mean, it's boring. So
yeah,
then
I was just like, yeah, whatever. Your party, go.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think I did like a musical theater program, and I had a lot of fun over the summer. And then a teacher from that program asked me to audition for this like musical review that he was doing off Broadway, and I auditioned for it, and it happened during the school year. So I was like, okay, I went back to Brown, and I was like, I'll ask them if I can take a semester off and come back, whatever. And I was like, I want to do this. I want to, you know, be an actor and go do this play in New York, and I'll come back to school. And the head of the theater department was just, I don't know if I've ever told this story, but she was just not supportive at all. And then as soon as she found out who my parents were, she totally changed lanes and was like, oh, well, then of course. Yeah, you should.
How'd you find out who your parents were?
She said that actresses have a shelf life of 30 years old or something like that. And I was like, well, I don't think that's true. My mom's an actress and she's still working. She's over 30. Because I was just like, and she's like, well, who are your parents? And
you had somebody else tell them.
I was like, excuse me, to someone else in the hallway. Can you just whisper it in their ear? No,
I just had the goblin try to shit on your hand again, but it wasn't there long enough.
Can you actually get a goblin?
Yeah, man. Well, I'm not lying to you.
Yeah, you are. So anyways, she said, of course you can join the program.
How'd you tell? I want to hear how you said. Did you say, my mom's Kyra Sedgwick?
Yeah, exactly. No, I probably felt uncomfortable. My face probably got really red, and I was already like picking my nail. I was like itchy. So I told her because she asked, and then as soon as she found out, she was like, of course, yeah, no, go do your play, and then you can come back and join the theater program. And I remember I just got up, left, went back to my house that I was living in, and just put all my shit, my dog, in my car, and I drove back to the city, and I dropped out.
Did you tell your parents before you made the decision?
No. I told them on the way home.
What did they say?
Good.
Yeah?
You seem miserable.
And then did you do more theater?
Yeah, so then I did that theater, that musical review off Broadway. It was so much fun. I had the best time. Like, I loved all the people that I was with, and just doing it, I mean, it was so fun, and I got to sing. And then after that, they did a different production of it, I think like 6 months later, and I didn't do that. And then I decided to come out here and start auditioning.
You're from here, right?
No, I'm from New York.
Oh, you grew up in New York?
Yeah.
Your parents live in New York?
Uh-huh.
And when we were filming our pilot,
yeah,
you would sing every now and then, and I'm looking at the camera now. I would ask Sosie to sing because she legitimately has just a beautiful singing voice. And I know that you get a little nervous with certain things, but I'm excited to tell all my TYSO goblins we're going to get a little performance. Ladies and gentlemen, Sosie Bacon.
There's absolutely no way.
Really?
How many times I didn't sing for you on set? Because I wouldn't, because I felt
Yeah, you did in the green room multiple times.
Oh, God. I did?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like me.
Oh, you forgot. I mean, it was only 9 years ago that we filmed this thing, it feels like. Yeah, you guys were singing some Disney every now and then.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I'll sing with other people, but there's absolutely no chance
go where
in hell.
The people are.
Yeah, I'm going to sing.
I want to see them dancing. Really?
It is hard for me not to sing along when you do sing that song, but I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
Because I'll feel so uncomfortable, and then it will read to the people watching and listening that I'm uncomfortable. Like maybe like how it's read up until a couple minutes ago.
Question for you. Why is people, I'm being very serious, and feel free to take your time on answering this. Why is it a negative for people to see you being uncomfortable?
I don't know. I think because probably because I
Think on it. We'll be right back with a word from our sponsors. If you're looking for just the right flooring, you need choices. And at Marshall Carpet One, you'll certainly find them.
and we're back.
Perfect. So people see you uncomfortable. Let me offer a different perspective. When you're watching, I love watching reality television audition style things. American Idol auditions, America's Got Talent. One of my favorite shows is Shark Tank. Just people being in a position to where this is really important to them, and they're probably nervous and uncomfortable. Seeing that is very attractive to me. Seeing people who, like are acting like they're not when they are is so uncomfortable to me.
Yeah.
I don't mind being uncomfortable.
Yeah. Wait. What's your question?
Why do you one, when you watch other people doing that, are you embarrassed for them?
No, I love watching other people be uncomfortable because it's very human.
So why would you feel uncomfortable being very human?
I don't know. I mean, I guess because I probably would prefer to seem like I was it's vulnerable. And then I would prefer to seem like I was comfortable in a lot of different situations, when the reality is it's true, I'm not. Like sometimes I'm not, and it's just a vulnerable place to be. So it feels
I appreciate that. And I don't know if it's because of just the practice I was forced to have, but being vulnerable is like, there's this movement where now, this masculine versus feminine energy, and it shouldn't belong to a sex in particular, but it's all encompassing. And this movement of men who are sensitive and vulnerable, that's strong and blah, blah, blah. I don't mean to push that agenda, although I don't disagree with it. It's truly just I've never felt that vulnerable was weak or embarrassing. Like I even said, I had to acknowledge that I did the exposition to you because I felt uncomfortable that I was lying. Being honest, I don't know, maybe the coffee's kicking in too much and I'm already talking too much, so.
No, I understand what you're saying. Like, I think being vulnerable is so important, and that doesn't make it feel better in the moment. Like if I can look back and go, I was uncomfortable now, and then look back on it and go, yeah, it's okay. Like that's
right.
Just a human experience, but it doesn't make being vulnerable easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The reason is because you're not used to it. You haven't connected those patterns enough. I'm going to give you an analogy, and I've talked about this on a different podcast, but for years I was always terrified of getting throat cultures. Like this stick down the throat, because I don't want to stick down my throat. It's going to hurt. It's scary. I can't breathe. Someone's in control of my body. It's weird. And every time afterwards...
Good thing you don't suck dick.
I don't think I would have it that deep down.
Okay, got it.
We'll cut to a clip. We're going to do an animated drawing of Sosie. No, I was kidding. We're back. We don't need to edit anything there. And it wasn't until my mid to late 20s that I started realizing every time after I get what I would call the stick, it would be, oh, that wasn't that bad. I never remembered it wasn't that bad. And now knowing that before getting a throat culture, I still get a little like emotionally scared, but I'm able to tell myself, Rick, you're fine. It's the same with giving blood. I'm not scared of it. It doesn't matter. That used to be a scary thing to do. Being looking back at all the times that you were vulnerable and you're like, it's not that bad. If you could train yourself to remember that, it should be easier for you to go, I want to go where the people are. It's nerve-wracking. Singing, I'm uncomfortable. I'm so uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable doing that, but it's funny.
Yeah, totally. I think probably you've just been exposed to it a lot more doing stand-up, right? I mean, I don't really. I'm an actor, so I'm prepared. When I go to set and then I'm prepared for what I'm doing.
We had a scene that was the tag of the pilot.
I know you guys are prepared, but I'm not saying you're not prepared. But you're not being watched I know I have editors to cut it together. You know what I mean?
We do a lot of editing. I mean, look at all the goblins with their dicks out behind you.
No, I'm saying stand up.
Right.
I'm saying you're used to going up there, like more used to it than I would be.
We had a scene at the end of the pilot, no spoilers here, but it was just you were emotional and camera literally pushing in on you as the credits roll, and your eyes are watering and you're getting teary. How do you prepare for that to get emotional there?
I was emotional in that scene.
Yeah. It was great. Do you know the scene I'm talking about?
Are you talking about on the street or when you go?
No, yeah, when I go back into the office.
I was emotional?
Yeah. Eyes were watering up.
Oh, wow. Damn, I'm good. No, I'm kidding.
You are.
No, I'm kidding.
When you have to cry, do you feel that you're being vulnerable, or you feel like you're hiding behind a character so it's not real vulnerability?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It used to feel like I was ripping my heart out, and now with the different sort of preparation that I do, like it used to feel like when I would have to do a crying scene, then I would go home and feel kind of like embarrassed, like I had just cried in front of a bunch of strangers, and that feeling of like, oh, I just exposed myself to a bunch of people that I don't know. Now I'm so prepared, and it's so much the character, not me, that I don't feel that way anymore.
What is different? Did you used to have to recall something that made you sad, and you don't do that anymore?
Yeah, I don't do that anymore. I don't use personal experience for characters at this point.
Because it's too hard for you?
No, because I think it can dry up. Like if you're thinking about something that makes you sad,
Right.
if it makes you sad like the first 5 times, it might not make you sad the next 5 times.
Yeah.
You know, so I didn't think it worked well. I felt like it was like a struggle to get there, a struggle to make it happen take after take.
So how do you do it now?
I started working with a different coach, and we do like much, do you really want to know? Is this boring? Like my process?
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Shut up.
Boo!
Where are the goblins? Where are the goblins at? Yeah, we do something called Emotion with Detail, where like we will come up with a backstory for the character, and then sort of do this like weird virtual reality thing where we close our eyes and where I close my eyes and speak and imagine my memories from the past as the character, as if I'm the character and I'm looking at it. It sounds like really
fake memories or real memories?
Fake memories of the like I've made them up.
So they don't dry up because you're able to empathize with something new every time.
Just because I have a lot of memories or whatever, so that
Fake memories. So right?
Yeah, they're not my memories. So but I've made them real for myself by like living through them. Like, okay, I'm in this chair, this is what it feels like, and this is how I feel, and I'm walking, my feet are on the ground. It's like so like if I have a character that I played, like I can remember their memories because I like created them.
And that makes it easier for you because it doesn't dry up and you're not exposing yourself.
Yeah, but I mean at the same time, of course, there's times when you're like, fuck, I'm not feeling shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no way to like, it's not like this is like some amazing thing that works every time. It's not. It's just that, and you kind of use like a mixture of things, but that's what's been most helpful for me. So no, I don't feel embarrassed after that now.
I was talking with my girlfriend last night or this morning. I never remember because I could give you the reason, but it doesn't matter. I'm in bed for a lot, and I go to bed at 6 a.m., so what's the difference? But the conversation about being embarrassed comes up, about being embarrassed, and then what was the other one? Getting nervous about stuff. And she asked if I get nervous or embarrassed ever. And I said, all the time. And then she's like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that you get... you're so confident, she said about me. And thank you. I also agree with her. I feel I am very confident, but I don't think being embarrassed and being confident are mutually exclusive. And getting nervous and this is a new because I had this conversation with her within the past 12 hours, so it's still like I haven't really articulated this even to myself, but here it's coming up again with you. But I think there's something to the acceptance, and I do believe stand-up has forced me to do a lot of this. The acceptance in being embarrassed and nervous. Not only is it supposed to happen, and it's completely out of my control, the best I could do is hide it from you, but that's adding another layer of do they know, and it just makes it harder. That's one, releasing the control of, I mean, I'm supposed to be. The chemicals in my body are forcing it. I don't know how to control my brain that way. And the other version is seeing the funny in it, seeing how funny it is. So with that, I feel like there's this hack into it doesn't matter. Falling, it doesn't matter. I want to somehow get you to understand that in this moment, so you could be embarrassed right now and nervous and still look to camera and sing as well as you can.
Fuck, dude.
You know what I mean? Just be nervous.
I know, but do you really want me to sing?
Yeah.
Is that what is that what, like...
Well, of course. Now it's more layers than that.
Now it's become...
I mean,
a
I
thing.
asked you to sing in the green room, and you
Yeah.
were able to do it. That's who I am, and I can imagine that's annoying. My George, shout out to George, by the way, he doesn't live across the hall anymore. He used to. But I would sometimes just go over there and ask him to sing for me. He's a musician. He's amazing. When my mom's here, I would text him, will you come over? And just because of the type of person he is, not for better or worse, he's like, yeah. And he comes in with his guitar and sings. So I want that of people.
Oh, you know what I just thought of?
Yes.
Maybe it's the fact that with you on set, I was able to discern from your tone and from the way that you were asking me that you really wanted me to sing, and that you didn't care if it wouldn't make you think, like, laugh at me or be like embarrassed for me if I seemed embarrassed when I sang.
Could you say that differently? I don't understand.
Okay, like from the way that we talked about it on set, I could sort of tell from you, if this makes sense, that
I was asking sincerely.
you genuinely wanted me to sing, and however it came out, whether I seemed embarrassed or seemed uncomfortable, it wouldn't affect the way that you felt about the performance or whatever. You just wanted me to sing. So I was like, okay, I feel free. You know what I mean?
Compared to this where you think maybe I'm fucking with you.
No, I don't think that you're fucking with me now. I think it's more the fact that other people will watch and see this. But if it was just you and you were like, I really want you to sing.
Yeah, that
and
makes
I
sense.
could strip away all of the sort of like embarrassment that I had, or know that if you thought it was embarrassing, it wouldn't matter to you. You're just like, go ahead, be vulnerable.
But but with other people watching.
It's like, yeah, that's what I guess I think that
Yeah,
that's
that makes
the
sense.
distinction between me singing to you in the green room or singing to everybody or whatever I did that I don't remember, and doing it here in this setting.
Yeah, well.
Whereas if I was like prepared.
Yeah. Well, why don't you stand up, shake off a little bit, look into camera, okay, and let's see you get embarrassed.
Oh God, no. That's the thing. I don't want to.
Yeah, that's fair. Who am I to tell you that you need to do something?
I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I can see probably, but like by the end, you probably have convinced me too.
This conversation, this 15 minutes on the singing, the thing that resonated with me the most, and this is another beautiful hack, which is just talking about boundaries, which people don't do. You saying "I don't want to" was looking back. Of course, she doesn't want to, but I didn't accept it. But once you said "I don't want to," which you also did in the list cadence, but nothing followed it,
I did.
was like, oh yeah, I get that more than the other stuff. Yeah. Oh, if you don't want to, well then what are we talking about? That's like me telling you how good this food is, but not until you say, Rick, I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
Oh, well then, let's not do it.
You know what? You know what it's kind of like? It's like when you're in acting class and you're being asked to be vulnerable in front of a group of people. I know that I'm safe and I can be vulnerable in front of them, and that's fine. It would be harder for me. It is more embarrassing for me to do an exercise like you did with the poop, which I know is a joke now, and know that I did get away, Goblin. Stop shitting all over me. That I know now, like that, like it's like bringing what's vulnerable in a safe space to a space that's public.
Yeah. So I understand when there's on camera, there's more people, hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Millions
even.
if we promote it right. I still, and this is, I've left, I understand you don't want to, this is not that, I've left that. I still don't really understand why how you know, the people at home watching, some of them may like it or not care, so you're not worried about those people. It's the other people. It's the people who
are the other people?
I don't know. Who I don't know. Who are the other people? Who are the people?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I want to go. No, I'm kidding. I won't do it.
There's a game that we would play when I was on Undateable. We did this tour with the stand-up comics, and me, Brent Morin, Chris D'Elia, and Ron Funches, and shout out to David Finn on one of the years. We all went, and for a couple weeks we were going all these different cities, and we were spending a lot of time with each other on planes and cabs and blah blah blah. And there was one game, there was two, but one in particular I'm thinking of games that we would do a lot, and I think this was Chris's game, which was we have to sing. It's just us, but you have to sing. We pick a song or whatever, and none of us are like perfect. You know, some of us are better than others, but none of us would be like, listen to this. I guess Brent would, but he shouldn't be. No, he's good. Who cares? But it was, you're not allowed to make jokes. You're not allowed to be silly. You have to really sing as well as you possibly can. And we would do it, and just you laugh so much because it's the most vulnerable.
It is.
I used to try to do it on stage because singing is just embarrassing, especially if you're not real. Like, you have to be really, 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 really good to be able to just say, watch this.
Right.
So I get the feeling, but it's just funny.
Yeah. It's like funny to do it really serious.
It's funny to get embarrassed. It's funny to be get embarrassed, I guess. I don't know.
It's like now I fall all the time and smack into things and like
Why?
stuff like that. I'm just really clumsy, and I used to get embarrassed by it, but now it happens so much that I'm not embarrassed by it anymore. Or if I am, I can laugh at the fact that I'm embarrassed by it.
That's also a great metaphor of just like falling enough makes it not embarrassing.
Yeah, like yeah. Wait, I have a question. Can I ask you a question?
No. So when I was 17, no, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So do you say you go to sleep at 6 a.m.?
Yeah.
So you mean you stay up till then? So wait, because I was thinking, well, I mean, obviously, sorry. Because I was thinking about the fact that it was almost 2:45 when I got here, and you hadn't drank coffee yet.
Yeah, I woke up at, today I woke up earlier. I woke up at noon today.
Okay, so you're on like a sort of 6 a.m. to noon.
I know if I wasn't recording, I would have woken up at 1:30.
Got it. And what do you do in the night hours?
I watch stuff, and this podcast has a lot of editing.
Okay, yeah.
As you'll see. Particularly, head back for a second. Over your mouth. Yeah.
Oh, God. A goblin dick?
No, I was.
Fuck.
Well, it was goblin poop, but make it a dick. Just yeah, I work at night.
Okay, got it. You work it, so you just feel more productive at night.
I don't know if I would love to fix that. I don't know if that's because I would love to wake up at 8 a.m. and then maybe that'll change.
And do you have like a thing with sleep? Like, do you need to get a lot of sleep?
Yeah, I need 8 hours or it's game over.
And okay, got it. So
like today, I couldn't have done this without the coffee because I only got 6 and a half.
Do you drink coffee every day when you wake up?
No, only when I don't get 8 hours or if I'm doing something.
And you still poop normally, like when you wake up?
I'm really embarrassed talking about this. I feel so vulnerable.
I fucking doubt it.
But I, yeah, so my girlfriend has me trying some stuff because I haven't taken a poop that I've been happy with since my bar mitzvah, first of all. and
I'm so sorry.
But it's not even that I don't take big dumps.
Right.
It's just that I've conditioned myself to. It's just never enough. You know, people have their things. You know, she's not hot enough for me, or she doesn't make enough money, or whatever the thing may be. Mine is I'm just really not satisfied with shits.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend has me eating much more vegetables than I normally did. And I eat vegetables, but now I'm like throwing extra spinach in my smoothies.
Yeah.
And I'm also taking a lot of fiber. I've tried so many different fibers. Here's a free ad, by the way. Shout out to Metamucil pills. I've taken the Metamucil powder. I've taken other psyllium husk. The only one that works for me is the Metamucil pills.
Okay.
And I'm also now taking a significant amount of magnesium.
Magnesium is that shit works.
Yeah, literally.
I
had 2 poops
but if
today.
you take too much, it's like bad.
And that's yes.
If you
I cycle it. I do a week.
What do you mean?
I do a week
A
of
week
taking the
of
pills.
Okay.
To where I've now had like a week of shits that I'm not writing home about,
Right,
but
right,
like
right.
I could get through the day.
Right. So you pooped twice today from the magnesium?
I don't know if it's the magnesium. A lot of things going on right now.
And you don't drink coffee every morning?
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Coffee doesn't do for me what it does for other people. I don't drink coffee and it makes me dumb.
Oh, okay, got it. So it's not like that type of thing.
The best I can compare my bowel movements, or the way I could talk about my my penis,
Okay.
which is oftentimes when I was single, and I would, I guess, just to speak accurately, fuck girls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I say that because it's like, these aren't girls I'm dating. These are just Betty, don't listen to this part. Just the most beautiful babes in Tinseltown.
Yeah, right, of course.
And I would have to wear a condom because, unfortunately, I don't know them that well.
Yeah.
And it would be hard to get and or maintain an erection in the condom because there's so many things. You think I get nervous giving exposition without acknowledging it? Try having sex with a condom with a girl I'm not in love with. It's a disaster. It happens. You take it off.
And like, I encourage you to embrace that vulnerability.
Yeah, I think I've talked about this every fifth podcast. It's just condoms are tough.
Yeah.
And I have developed tools to make it easier, which I no longer need because I'm in love and everything's great. And I give her the business, and she can't walk sometimes. Edit that out. I was leaning into cocky guy, and I didn't like the way it sounded. But so the point I'm making is, once I'm thinking about I can't have sex in a condom, I would then not sleep with girls.
Right.
I would just do your blow jobs and hand jobs and titty fucks and. But that's how it is with poops. I've gotten to the point now where I feel like doesn't matter. Even if I have to shit, I always feel like I'm not going to be able to poop. So I am poop insecure.
I totally get that, because when I have to pee, no matter how badly I have to pee, if I think somebody can hear me or I think that somebody is waiting, it's like my body won't do it. Like, I could sit there and be like, I remember right before everything shut down, I was at dinner, and this girl, I was like, she was behind me in the line for the bathroom. And I was like, listen, if this takes a while, it's just because I'm pee shy. And no, that's not true. I said, I didn't know. Okay, this is what happened.
We'll rewind.
I said to her, I just had, because someone had been in the bathroom for a really long time before. We were both in line. And I said to her, don't worry, this will be fast. I just have to pee. And then I was in there for like fucking 5 minutes, because then I had told her that I had to pee. So I knew she was waiting, and I knew she thought it was going to be fast, and then I couldn't pee. Then when I walked out of the bathroom.
She thought you pooped.
Well, I don't know. Well, I thought, okay, great, I'll never have to see her again. And it happened that she was at this dinner that I was attending, and I hadn't met her yet. And then
Wait, I don't understand. I thought you went to the bathroom and you already told her that you have to pee. How did you not met her?
I'm like, I'd met her in line, but I didn't realize that she was at the same table as me,
Gotcha.
sitting next to me.
Okay.
I thought she was just. And so I said to her, like, sorry. And then when I was when I was introduced to her, I was like, oh yeah, bathroom friends. And then I was like, I really did just pee. It's just that I get pee shy, especially when I know that somebody's waiting. And she was like, and it was just like too much information. You know what I mean? And then it was just like, it just spiraled into like a disaster. That's a weakness of mine, is because I get uncomfortable if I'm not on the same page with somebody. And I've learned that people aren't thinking what I'm thinking, so I oftentimes have to tell them, even though I don't have to tell them. And that over-communication, and I start to spiral because I almost need them to be... it's almost like I would need that girl to say to me, oh, I understand now. That makes sense. You're pee shy, yeah. Exactly. And then you can be like, yes. But they're not going to do that. They're just going to be like, okay. But that's funny that you say that you get uncomfortable when you're not on the same page as someone, because I think that part of the reason why, like, I'm the exact same way, and I feel like you are sometimes unpredictable or so dry that I don't know what page you're on, so I can't get on it, so I'm not comfortable.
Yeah, but by design, we are on the same page. That's still a playful thing. I see. First of all, when I do silly things, and that are lies, whether it's making you put your hand out or whatever.
So you do admit that it was a lie.
No.
Gotcha.
We'll have to wait and find out. It's my intention is never really to lie. It's to play with.
Right.
So in the moment, I do think this person's on the same page with me. Either I'm wrong or I find out that they're not, and then I will have this conversation with. No, I'm telling you honestly, there's shit and dicks, goblin dicks and shit all over this podcast on you.
Just.
Yep. Go ahead. Do it again.
You don't realize that I'm such a fucking idiot that I would actually think there was an animated goblin shitting on my hand and I would go with it.
Do me a favor. I'm bringing in my second goblin. Will you do what you just did again with enough time for it to work?
No, I won't. There's
Okay.
my boundary.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable with us pushing it on that and putting in slow motion so it works? Mark it. I'll take care of it.
With that.
I'm such a fucking idiot that I would actually think there was an animated goblin shitting on my hand.
What were we just talking about? You were just telling me, the peeing stuff.
No, I was just saying that I think that's sometimes why I get nervous around you because I'm not sure what page you're on, so I can't get on the same page as you.
Well, the page I'm on right now is feeling uncomfortable that the chair cushion that you're on is so tilted the wrong way.
Oh, got it.
That you must be feeling. Why don't you fix that?
I'm not uncomfortable. The thing that's making me uncomfortable right now is that you told me that I can't use the bathroom, which I totally respect, but I have to pee so badly.
I knew this was happening.
That I'm going to consider, honestly. Actually, I'd probably get too pee shy. I don't think I could do it. So
In
let's
the bush?
just keep going. Where's the bush?
Oh, well, that's what I have people do when they come if they have to. People, you're the only. Usually, people are climbing up the balcony off and down. I don't normally let people in through the house, but I'm not going to have you climb up the balcony.
Why not? I can climb up the balcony.
Well, great. That's what people do, and they pee in bushes.
So you're saying climb down the balcony and pee in that bush. I'll do it.
We'll be right back with a word from our sponsors. Yeah.
I'm not going to be fast though because I'm going to get pee shy.
Hey, Pops, I'm on the podcast right now, and I wanted to ask Mom a question, but I could ask you, I guess.
Well, or Mom's outside. I can gladly give her the phone.
Yeah, let me talk to Mom.
Okay.
This is more her area. Thanks.
Yeah, she's much more entertaining than I am.
Well, it's a female question.
Then no better female to ask.
What?
Ricky has a female question to ask you.
Yes.
I don't think I should be in the room, so here's your phone.
What's the question, dear?
Hi, Ma. Could you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm doing a podcast now with Sosie, and I told her beforehand that she has to go to the bathroom before she gets here because I'm not letting people use my bathroom.
Right, that's in you. Yeah.
And now she has to pee, so I allowed her to climb over the balcony. She's climbing back up now.
My God.
And I need you to tell my audience that I'm respectful of people, and I basically I look like a horrible person now, and I need your help to have people recognize that them be the rules.
Well, I cannot believe this is going to happen. It might be the first time that this is happening. I'm nauseous and sick to be having to do this to you, but that is so sick and so horrible, and no way. And get her a fucking bucket and put her out in a hallway, but don't make her climb over a balcony.
I did it.
Let her use a toilet, and I'm baffled by the whole thing. No, I'm sorry, I cannot answer that question in a nice way.
All right. Well, she's back, so
Tell her I am so sorry. I don't care if she came to my house and peed on the seat. I would wash it afterwards.
all right. Okay, love you. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
I wanted my mom to tell me that what I just did was okay, and she couldn't.
It was so fun. I peed a lot though. Like I really had to pee. But here we are.
Could you hear out of both sides of the headphones?
No, just one now. Oh wait, no. Yeah, there we go.
Were you able to pee?
Yeah, and it was fast. Like I was able to pee quickly. Like I didn't get pee shy, and I had a nice view of.
Hold on, that's my mom.
Okay, yeah.
And also bleep out the street, she said.
Sorry.
My mom won't be able to hear you.
Okay.
Hi, Ma. Just so you know, Sosie could hear you, but what's up?
Okay, is this Sophie, the same Sophie?
Sosie.
Sosie, is this the same Sosie that's that Kyra Sedgwick's daughter?
Yeah.
Okay, tell her I loved her when she was when she gave the brownies, when she gave the pot brownies to Fritz. I'm so mad at her, but she's so darling, and I love her parents. I love her, and that's our favorite show.
Okay.
Okay, but just tell her when
She can hear you.
brownies.
Thank you.
Oh, hi, sweetie.
Hi. Yeah, but maybe she'll watch it later.
Oh, right.
I'm hanging
Put your
up.
hand
Oh,
out.
I didn't realize it was her. Now I'm even more mad at you. Okay, bye.
All right, bye.
I think I did actually pee on my shoes a little,
Well,
which is fine. Wouldn't be the first time.
what time would it be?
I don't know, maybe like the 600th.
You know, I would love to say that the reason I had you do that was because of my obsessive compulsive disorder. But the truth is, we were talking about being outside of our comfort zones, and you were talking about having problems peeing, and I wanted to show you that, look at, when you have to, you could pee anywhere as long as it's for comedy. And I think it would have been harder for you to do that if the cameras weren't on.
No, that's not true. That wasn't out of my comfort zone, though. Like, because I'm down there, I know that you can't see me. I know the cameras can't see me. I know nobody can see me because of my... Well, actually, you were waiting for me. But that was the next level that I had to pee so bad. And I tried to use the bathroom before I came. I really did. But I drank water. I really needed to. You know when you don't drink enough water and then you feel like you have bad breath?
No.
Okay.
So now, with pee on your shoe, ladies and gentlemen,
Fully, you can see it.
singing any Disney song, Sosie Bacon.
I won't do it.
Okay.
Not yet.
Sure. There was a pee story I wanted to share.
Yes, please.
So I pee my pants. Not like all the time, but I'm never. What did I just do? You know, a lot of times I put my Johnson away a little early and just some dribbles.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I'm at a urinal, when I put my Johnson away, when it's dribbling outside on the outside of my pants. So the move that I would do is when I wash my hands, I dry them like this. I shake my hands out so it splatters water all over the place. So it looks like that's not pee. But I was on a date with a girl, and we were about to leave, and I had to poop, and I knew that I wanted to kiss her goodnight. It takes a lot to kiss goodnight. I have to tell myself you have to do this. So knowing that I was going to kiss her goodnight, there's already going to be so much nerves. That's the most nervous in the world, is going to kiss a girl without knowing if she wants to, you know? And I couldn't have any obstacle of needing to take a shit. And also, as we talked about before, when I have to go poop, to deny that is what's it called when you cut yourself?
Self-mutilation.
Yeah, I'm looking for a different word, but why would I do that? You know, it's a gift. It's a gift.
Yeah.
But
you don't want to waste a poop.
Yeah, because
Because then if you hold it, it's not as good as later. I get it.
Yeah, and you might not. That's like you getting an audition for something you really want and turning it down. It's like these don't always come around.
Exactly what it's like.
You know what I mean? This could change your life at any moment. I feel like this shit could change my life. But the problem with
this could be like your bar mitzvah shit.
The problem with taking a shit when you're on a date is then she knows you took a shit. I don't mind being honest about that kind of stuff. It's funny, you know, I have to poop, whatever. But if it's about to be something intimate, that's not where I want the energy to be. So I had to pretend this shit was a pee.
Right.
Now, when you go into a bathroom, there's a public bathroom. You have to clean the toilet seat with paper towels, sometimes with wet paper towels as well. Then you have to wash your hands from it. Then you have to double fold the paper seat for the side, and the front. You have to check under everything. You know, it's a process that I didn't have time to do because I needed to cut as much fat as I possibly could. So I did what you do in camp, which is I just squatted.
Right.
And I also had to pee. So trying to do multiple things at once, I pulled my pants down for squat and I put my penis aimed to the toilet, but I let the pee come out sooner. So I peed my pants. I peed the outside of my pants and the inside of my pants as the hose went down. Was it a lot of pee? It was almost a second of pee. You know what I mean? And it wasn't dribble. It was I opened the thing. So I peed my pants inside and outside, and I have to poop.
What is it, like a little flat door?
What do you mean?
You opened the thing? What do you mean?
Like when you turn the sink on, it just starts coming. It was the beginning of it. It wasn't, the floodgates. So I peed my pants, I peed my underpants, inside and outside, and now I'm pooping. And I'm also like, what am I doing? While I'm holding myself up. I did the move at the sink where I also shook and everything, but now I'm just scared to kiss. I'm just scared that she's gonna smell the urine.
Right.
So we go back. I have the windows down. It's a little cold, and I walk her to her place, and she goes, "Do you want to see, And I go, "Yeah." I didn't want to see the place. I needed to leave, but I can't. If a girl asks me to go in to see her place, and I say no, kissing her would be weird.
Right.
Right. She's saying, "Come on in and let's, grab my boobs and stuff," and I'm going like, "No, I'll just give you a kiss without any open mouth by the side of your door." So I go, "Sure, as long as you don't smell my piss," is what I'm thinking.
Right.
So I ended up going upstairs and I kissed her goodnight. That's just really the whole story.
That's a bummer. What I don't understand is that why guys don't use toilet paper to get rid of that pee that always ends up getting when you're saying that you pee.
Oh, you're saying there's no toilet paper at a urinal.
Yeah, but then go use the stall.
No.
Well, why?
Because you could shake it.
You can shake it, but I feel like it never really gets all of it off.
I think there's two types of people, and that's it. I just got really embarrassed because that's part of a stand-up joke that I do by accident.
Oh, okay.
There are the people that shake and it comes out, and then people that shake and then who knows what's going to happen.
Right.
I happen to be the latter.
Okay, got it. So some people shake, it comes out, and then but it's not dry. I mean, it's skin that just was wet.
It's enough. It's sterile piss.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I hate peeing when I just peed in the bushes. I hate not being able to wipe because it's ugh.
Do you need me to get you some toilet paper?
No, I'm not going to jump back down there now it's fine. It's dry.
That's what I'm saying.
I also do pee my pants, but when I laugh really, really, really hard, I pee.
Yeah, why do girls pee when they laugh?
I don't know, but it's really annoying because then when you start peeing, it's really hard to stop. So I think the last time it happened was in a Target, and I was laughing, and then I crouched down on the floor from laughing, and then I peed, but I couldn't stop it, so it really did make a puddle on the ground.
I want to call my mom back up and have her tell the story of shit on a Target floor.
Can you?
Yeah. All right, so guys, if you're coming back now, one of two things happened. Either you know what's happening and I just didn't delete it, or I had to delete a story that my mom told me, so we're coming back to it now.
Oh, but your mom.
We piss and poop our pants all the time. And my mom, when I went to London in February and March, and my mom came. She's always wanted to go to London, and she came to visit, and she walked from her hotel to Betty's place, and she had used the bathroom so bad that she didn't make it to the toilet. We told this on another podcast. I'll cut to a clip.
Hi.
Hi.
Did you get my text that we're staying home?
Yes.
Are you happy?
Yeah.
Do you feel better now?
I just, before this virus, I wanted everybody to stay away from me.
I know.
Before this virus, everyone wants to shake hands, and it's like, I'm not into it. And now everybody is coming out of the woodworks with these neuroses. And to be honest with you, I'm a little worried that it's going to take away my thing. Have you peed or pooped your pants recently?
I actually did the other day, and I washed my pants, and it looked like it didn't all come out, so I had to wash them again.
What happened?
I go to the bathroom all the time. Every 5 minutes, I have to poop.
Wait, you pooped your pants the other day, really?
I swear to God. You're not taping me, are you?
No, but why are you pooping your pants all the time?
Because it's not all the time. I just poop my pants sometimes because I have to go, and I can't hold it in. And it's like that time when I came over to I know, but I sometimes don't make it there. Well, like when I came to Betty's house, and then I pooped on her rug. Yeah, I ran into the bathroom, pulled down my pants as I was going into the bathroom, not knowing that it was already starting to come out, and a big plop fell out on her rug.
If you don't have time, can't you, do you understand once you feel like you have to poop, there's a sense of urgency? Maybe you need to get to the bathroom faster than you think?
Yes, but I was walking to her house.
Yeah, but what happened the other day? Where were you?
I was walking to the bathroom, and it just came faster than I thought.
Doesn't stop the tree out.
I need to stop at a tree. Oh, well.
I'm going to cut. We had it animated too. It's so funny. My mom basically was walking. She pulled down her pants to get there faster.
Yeah.
And pulled down her pants too soon and literally shit on my girlfriend's floor.
What did Betty say?
Betty's awesome. She was just like, so my mom came out embarrassed and laughing, and she said, and I cleaned it up, and she said it was just a little duty, as if like, as long as it wasn't a big duty. And then she's like,
just a drop or two.
She said, where should I put this washcloth? Like she wanted to wash it, and Betty's like, just throw it away.
Like put in the laundry. Wait, so have you not seen Betty since quarantine started?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's hard.
She was coming here like a week or two after quarantine started, so she was about to be here. Just missed the window. I was just there. I didn't get back here until beginning of March, and then she was coming a few weeks later.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. I want to fill up my coffee, and I want to ask you. I want to talk to you about our show a little bit.
Okay.
So I'll be right back, and we're back. Also, So Jason Kadams Zoom called us, as we were talking about earlier, and we found out that our show was picked up. Very exciting, but also maybe it's not because nothing's official yet. So also maybe it's not picked up. But once I booked the pilot, I bought everybody a thank you card, casting and director and production and blah, blah, blah. I get overwhelmed with what do I do? Do I just say thanks? Do I have to give a personal thing? I ended up never sending any of them. So then we found out the show gets picked up, and it's like, I got to do something. So I ended up, my favorite cookies, do you know the brand Delicious? I have some. That's why I'm bringing it up. They're my favorite cookies, but I've been gluten-free for a few months. They do gluten-free cookies now. So I messaged her, and she sent me some. So I wanted to give a shout-out to Delicious Cookies. Thank you for the cookies. And I love when I get gifts and there's little cards and says, Rick, take your shoes off. Sorry, couldn't help myself. And get ready to dunk in a glass of milk of your choice.
Ooh.
First of all, it's 2020. We don't drink milk anymore. Thank you for the great conversation. Huge congrats on your pilot. All the best, Lydia. So sweet.
Yeah, that's so nice.
So I sent Jason and his family some cookies. But I was nervous because I only have his address because we were given his address to go watch the show.
Right.
But it's not for me to throw around willy-nilly.
Right.
So I got nervous, like, I don't want to give the cookie place his name because I don't want people knowing name and address.
Right.
So I had it addressed to Mr. True Jack, which True Jack is his production company. And then that got me thinking, like, is he going to think this is some, like, spam? You know what I mean? So, but whatever. But I got these cookies, and she sent me all these different gluten-free options. And would you like one?
Yeah, hell yeah. Are you going to throw it out there and then I'll get it? You definitely want to. Wait, which ones do you have?
Are you interested? Do you like peanut butter?
Yep. Love.
I would like to give you this because I don't eat peanuts.
Throw it. Hey! Am I supposed to eat it now?
You don't have to.
I'm going to have a bite, though. I've been eyeing those cookies. I was wondering when you were going to bring it up.
And also, I guess I don't mean to treat this like an advertisement, but they're gluten-free and vegan. So keep in mind when you're eating it, you're eating gluten-free. So it's not this, but aren't there it still is.
That is really good.
It's amazing to find a good,
really good
cookie that is gluten-free. And when I do, I don't mind plugging them.
It's because there's like this. Sorry. Is it gross to talk while you're eating?
Yeah, but right now, it's not like it's during the podcast. This is an eating segment almost, so it's allowed.
There's like this soft kind of like, I can't really explain it. This soft part in the middle that's very rich.
Could you do that? Let me. If you're not going to sing, could you at least put a performance on for me? Could you look to
Yeah.
your camera and do if you were doing an ad for this?
See, this is what I'm talking about. I don't want to do like a improv thing that I'm gonna get embarrassed by later.
Okay.
I will say though, this is the honest truth.
Say it to camera.
It is so good because it's got this like, I don't know if you can see, but
Perfect.
about from here to here, there's this very like soft, rich sort of sugary part that isn't like a normal cookie. It's a bit more like squishy and fudgy than a normal cookie.
Is it
but it's
almost
not-
like underbaked in the middle?
Yes. But it's not like fudge. I don't really like fudge. It's like, yeah, like underbaked, very moist. Very moist. And since it's really sugary, it's got kind of like the crunch of the sugar.
Perfect. That's going to look great when we put a little
Flame.
music under it.
So good.
Shout out to Delicious. It's actually, I think it's like Deluscious. It's spelled Deluscious. How would you pronounce that?
Delicious.
Yeah, I say delicious, but
It's really good. Good advertising. You didn't say the name right.
yeah, I spelt it though, and it was organic because, also like, I charge a certain amount for ads, but if it's something that I like, all I need them to do is send me like $20 worth of the product.
You're gonna like that one I see with the
The chocolate one?
with the like white stuff on the outside.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
It looks good.
So I know about those. I haven't tried the gluten-free version of it, but I know about those ones because when I was working on Warner Brothers, I would go over to the Conan lot all the time because I'm friends with Sona. Episode 64, check it out. It was a great episode. I just had Sona on. And they had those in the green room all the time. So I would go over and I would watch a performance or two and just eat tons of those things.
So good.
So I want to talk a little bit about the show that we're maybe doing, that I think we're doing, the Amazon show. And it's about, it's a remake of a Israeli show called On the Spectrum. I don't know if our show's called that. The pilot, they called it like Nobody's Simple or something, like Simple Jack, or what was it called? Like who's special, or
Not. I can't remember.
it was something.
Oh! When we watched it,
Yeah.
I think it was called
Simple People.
Define Normal.
What's normal?
Are you sure?
No. Anyway, and the show is about 3 autistic roommates who are trying to live a life of independence with relationships, with jobs, having their own place, and their family and the main characters are the 3 roommates and the keeper of the place where they live, which is you. The brother of one of the roommates, and my character's dad. And so basically there's 6 castmates. 3 of us have been diagnosed with some form of autism, and 3 of the neurotypical actors have not. And I found out after the fact, and I'm very interested, I never talked to you about this. Everybody, or at least some of them, I don't know if Joe had to, because his daughter, he's very familiar and intimate with his relationship with autism. Had to go to some like training.
No. I asked since
Modeling.
What? What do you mean modeling?
The way you're posing right now.
Broken doll.
Yeah, that's thumb out, right?
I have no idea. I've never modeled, shockingly. I know you guys are all surprised. All the goblins.
Cuts is just, I'm going to Google search you model and see if there's any.
I'm not. There's nothing. When I got the part, the character that I'm playing, I don't even know what exactly you would call her job title.
Yeah, I don't either. But you did the research.
Right, but I couldn't get a straight answer, really. Not because it was, more because I don't think people have. I think that when I spoke to Elaine, who's the woman who runs the class that I went to a bunch of times.
She was so sweet.
So
is
sweet.
so sweet.
She's so sweet. And
She's a mother of autism, and I looked at her as kind of like a consulting producer almost on set, like making sure that. I'm sorry you're telling your story, but before I forget, it was very interesting because I haven't worked as much as you have, but I've been on a fair amount of productions before, and I had never been on one where there was an Elaine, which was basically she was there, kind of like the Screen Actors Guild and after are these acting unions, and every now and then reps for these unions come by and make sure that we're being treated a particular way, and it's very broad, and it's always we're fine, everything's fine. I've never had an issue. But this was a very specific where she was there making sure that like things weren't being too loud, and everyone was like the work environment was the kindest.
It really was.
And it's interesting that like, oh, well, that's because there's people with autism, so we have to be nice. Like,
right.
Why aren't there
but
always
it should, like,
have
always
an
be
Elaine?
that way. Yeah, exactly. And she didn't do anything. It wasn't like intrusive or felt like she was like, well, I'm the go-between or anything like that. It was just that she was there.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I asked Jason and Jenny if they had any ideas, since I know that they had
Ideas about what?
Oh, so basically I wanted, because I'm I think she called it life coach. When I asked Elaine what the the title would be, which I thought was kind of weird. And then another person called, like, in the log line or in her character breakdown, it said an aide, which I also feel like is not really what my character is, because she's more of like I don't know.
A caregiver.
A caregiver.
I think an aide is fine.
Okay. So anyways, I wanted to speak to somebody who had this job, obviously, before I played someone who had the job. And then they suggested, which was amazing, that I go to a couple of classes of Elaine's program.
Did you go alone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I thought production had you and Chris go to it.
I think Chris, no, I reached out to them and asked if they knew anyone I could speak to who had the same job. They connected me with someone, and then they connected me with Elaine. And she said she has this program. Do you want to come?
And
for
what's
a
the
couple
program
of days?
for?
It's for people with autism, and the day that I was there, if I remember correctly, the couple of days that I was there, if I remember correctly, we did sort of like a check-in, and then we did some improv.
That must have been difficult for you.
It was. It was difficult for me. And basically she said, do you want to participate? Basically, if you come, participate. So obviously I did. So
this is not a class for neurotypical to engage, to better understand autism. This is a class for people with autism to develop tools.
Yeah, to develop tools. Yeah, and to develop communication skills. They had been going to this class for maybe a year.
Right.
So they all knew each other, and then
How many people are in the class?
There were probably like 15 people.
And is it ranged a range of people from where their challenges are?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there was all types of people, all different ages, and what we did is we split up into two groups and went into two different rooms, and some stuff had come up for one of the actors, the students, that's what they call them, actors. It's an acting class, I'm fairly certain. It's just that I didn't go to enough to get like so much of a sense, but I think it's an acting class. Something had sort of come up for him, and
an autistic acting class.
Mm-hmm. And
why is that making me feel like this? What's so like, I don't know. There's something so very sweet about that. I'm actually about to cry. Why is that so cute? What is that? Why?
Well, I mean, it was incredibly moving just to be there, because the way that they communicated with each other and the way that they supported each other, and then the way that the teachers, I guess you could call them in this setting, communicated with the actors. I mean, it really was truly moving, and it taught me a lot about, I think maybe there's sort of this idea, and I don't know, do you want to jump in?
No, I want to hear what kind of stuff you all did.
So we basically something, yeah.
when they're going to this class, it's the purpose of this class, I would imagine, but please correct me, is for both for acting, but also using acting to develop interpersonal tools, right?
Exactly.
And by practicing as these characters in these scenes, we're giving direction where they can maybe see it outside of themselves and watch other performances that are. It's all communication, yeah.
All communication, yeah. And I think
Broken down.
what? God. Stop. Yeah. So I mean, it definitely strengthens communication, and I have worked in a lot of prisons doing this kind of work with like 15 to 18-year-old people in juvenile prisons.
What is this kind of work?
Using acting and acting class and improvising
Right.
and improv games and writing scripts together to strengthen communication and just community.
Yeah, you said that one of the things that attracted you so much to doing the musical theater when you first started was that type of community and connection, like a team.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do think that it's, and same thing with working on a show now. That's what I love so much, is getting kind of like close with people and going out and doing things together like we did, that when we went to karaoke and things.
I didn't karaoke,
but you came to dinner after.
Yeah.
But anyways, those sort of relationships that you build, I think were so important for me growing up, and then to see them used in situations like that, you know what I mean, where all of these people that were in the class, they were all super tight because they've been going for a year, you know what I mean? And what was really moving was that I think a couple of things were coming up for one of the actors about something that she had gone through at school, and the way that the other actors supported her when she was struggling. And I remember one of the
Struggling
other actors,
with what?
she was just seemed to be grumpy and in sort of a bad mood, and was like very, just not wanting to be there.
And how did the other people help her?
Well, the teachers were asking her what's wrong and like what was going on, and another actor shared his experience, and he was like, when things don't go exactly how I want them to, I often get frustrated and angry. But sometimes I just tell myself that I'm just having a bad day, and then I feel better. And just to see the way that the actors communicated with each other and supported each other was it was beautiful and really helpful. I mean, not that this is important, but helpful for me to do my job of portraying that.
Why'd you say not this is important? Did you want to make... Yeah, I have my assumptions, but what made you want to clarify that?
Well, I mean, because this is like, I'm talking about this, like, I was there as a person to watch and participate, but obviously selfishly it helped me. So I'm like sort of...
But that was your intent. That was your
two.
intention.
Yeah, no, of course. I don't
sorry
know
to
why
interrupt. I just that's curious to me that you would do that.
What did I do again? I said...
I've noticed that every time you hit the microphone, you apologize, and meanwhile I'm making you literally jump over a balcony to piss in a bush, and it's just...
And you just stop saying sorry for merely existing.
and just like not that my things are important, like it's still I don't whatever. I'm just not comparing.
But I guess my point is that it was moving to see, for me as a human being, and selfishly to help me with my role, it was helpful to me because I saw the communications between the actors and the teachers. And the
Is it fair to use the term actor and autistic person interchangeably in these stories? Because you're seeing autistic people, not necessarily just actors, right?
Oh, you mean, well, that's what Elaine called them, because they're students, but they were actors. So she, I think, calls them that.
But I'm saying for you to use this as you're saying
the autistic people, yeah. Or students or whatever. But what I was struck with, and what you might be able to, I don't know, what I would like to hear your thoughts on it, is that the teachers, when one of the autistic people would call out or maybe say something, out of turn or whatever, and the teachers would be like, hey, that was really rude, and you should know that that's rude, and I want you to stop doing that. You know what I mean? And it was sort of like there was nobody was walking on eggshells about people acting inappropriately. You were just told that you were acting inappropriately, and then that was okay, but it wasn't with anger.
Yeah, I talked about this on the Sosie podcast right before I've talked about this on a lot of podcasts, but basically I was kicked out of this basketball game. Those of you that listen have heard this before. The inciting incident to me getting this autism diagnosis, it was a buildup of a lot of things, and basically the final thing was getting kicked out of this basketball game with all my friends and my work colleagues, etc. And nobody came up and told me that they didn't like how aggressively I would drive to the hoop and how hard I would play and blah, blah, blah. They just wanted to play and have fun, but they told the guy who runs the game. And so when I told the story, a lot of people will say, yeah, well, it's uncomfortable, it's confrontational, people don't want to. But that's such a problem and such a cop-out. People, like you said, it's interesting to see they didn't walk on eggshells. Why do we have to fucking walk on eggshells? Yeah. And what my guess is why she is telling the actors, the students, the people with autism so directly is because I'll group myself in this. We don't read the nuance very well.
Right.
And I have learned to know that when people check their watch, maybe they're bored because it's a cliche at this point. But these intuitive gestures and feelings, and I don't pick up on them that well, especially as a kid. So just fucking say tell me you don't like this. Say I don't want to sing. You have to say these things. Unfortunately, because people haven't heard them enough and their egos get in the way, they hear I'm not good enough. I'm upsetting them. I'm annoying them. I'm feeling weak. I'm feeling vulnerable. Whatever these feelings are that they're supposed to be having, that they're associating with negative. And it stops this cycle of direct communication.
Totally.
And the reverse, when somebody is direct, I'm not liking this conversation we're having. Can we talk about something else? It's the person, they can't receive that.
Right.
Not only could they not receive that, issues I got into in the past was I don't realize that I just upset them by saying, what's the point of this?
Yeah.
I'm interested. I just don't understand what we're saying. You need to
right.
Now I say, which I said to you earlier, could you explain that differently?
Yeah.
So I also was trying to understand where my emotion is coming from. And one got me when you said that one of the actors was saying, I understand sometimes when I get frustrated, blah, 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 blah. What's so beautiful about that to me is that's a really hard thing to know about yourself. It's hard to recognize the chemicals in my body are making me feel this way. The stick down my throat scares me. So have the logical parent talk to the emotional child and say, I know it's tough, you'll be fine. That's such a hard thing to be able to do. There's first of all. Then once you understand that much about yourself, which is you're in grad school now, to have the foresight and the courage to say that to somebody else, to now say, hey, this is what I've learned. That's so nice.
Yeah.
And it's just so such a beautiful way to be understood. I know it's when I'm thinking, just sing, who cares?
Right.
And you're like, no, this is hard for me. It's nice to be able to, this isn't anything I did well, but there is a younger version of me that is still, just do it, just sing, and not appreciating that what's easy for me isn't necessarily easy for somebody else. So anyway, that direct conversation does two things. One, it tells them that's rude, so they might have to hear it a million times.
Right.
But also it's conditioning communication.
Yeah.
I find that people in my life speak to me in a way that they didn't when I first met them, and they may not speak to other people because consciously or otherwise, I have conditioned them. You need to tell me that you're annoyed. You need to tell me I'm being too loud.
Yeah.
Just tell me.
Yeah, and I felt that way on set as well. There was sort of this freedom that you and certainly Albert had and Sue-Ann said, if I'm ever doing something, I don't want to speak for them, but I did hear them say this. If I'm ever doing something that you don't like, just let me know.
Yeah.
And it was whoa. I mean, it never happened and I never did it, but it translated to on screen because when we had one of sort of those chaotic scenes where everybody was talking, I didn't feel precious about saying that's not okay. You know what I mean? And watching that happen and watching the actor, the person with autism, the student, not get offended.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He wasn't offended at all. Just as Albert said, I'm not going to be offended. I just don't know.
That's a big strength.
It is.
I also didn't know. That thing of saying, "Hey, if I'm bothering you," or tell me, I didn't learn that tool until I was in my 30s.
Right.
Which something that I've learned that it does two things. One, it lets you feel more comfortable and to tell me things, which in the short term it makes you happier. In the long term, you don't build resentment. But also, I think that by giving you permission to tell the person, to tell me, or if by anybody giving you permission to tell them, it makes it doesn't bother. Now you may not even have to tell.
Right.
Like if you're chewing and it's gross and it's making me mental, I would have to tell you you're chewing too loud, or I would be too scared to tell you. But if you were to say beforehand, I know I chew loud, it's going to be 2 minutes, I just got to eat the cookie, I just want to let you know, I probably won't even need to say anything now because I feel like we're on the same page.
Right.
She knows. I mean, again, it's my coffee, and I say this all the time. I want to put a compilation of all the times I've said I'm talking too much, but at this point, I'm 60-some episodes in, I'm going to talk too much. When I said, that's what I meant earlier about being on the same page.
I get that.
Yeah.
And that's also why I felt comfortable to say to you earlier on, the reason why I'm sometimes uncomfortable is I don't know that we're on the same page. And then I have to ask. But now that I feel like I can ask,
wait, I just heard.
Oh, no.
Dude, I don't have a production. I'm just doing it all in my living room. What happened?
I don't think anything happened.
What?
Oh, no, I dropped the cookie on the ground.
It's outside. It's fine.
Oh.
That sounds like that could be a saying. Like, sometimes the cookie will be on the ground, but
it's outside.
It's outside. I'm so sorry. So you were saying about.
I feel comfortable saying to you, are we on the same page about this? Because I feel like I'm the same way, and I think it would be really helpful if people were more clear about what they wanted and what they didn't want and what they liked and what they didn't like. And there was just talking about it, just like we were talking about it more, instead of sort of this like game that I feel like we all play.
I think a lot of people, I'm very confident, the majority of people don't communicate what they want or don't want. One, because they find it challenging, they're afraid of upsetting or whatever the thing they fear. I feel there's a bit of codependence in that and selfishness in that, I don't want to upset them. No, you don't want to feel uncomfortable because you feel you upset them. That's a cop-out. But also, I don't think people know what they want and what they don't want. Like, communicating boundaries is so important, but that first step of recognizing what you don't like so you don't react, but
Totally.
You know this thing. It seems like such a simple thing. Know what you like, know what you don't like, and tell people.
Yeah.
But people don't do it.
No, but I do think sometimes, I think when I'm having a hard conversation with someone I'm in a relationship or whatever, and I start to get flustered and unable to articulate what it is that I'm not liking about this, so what my tool is to say, I'm not articulating this well right now. I need to go have a 20-minute talk with my therapist so we can speak about what it is that I really am not liking about this, because I haven't been trained to know what I like and what I want. That's just, I think that that's not something that women are trained very well. I think that we're often told to apologize, like you're saying, and make sure that, and not worry about our needs being met.
You just hit it and didn't
I know,
apologize.
I was like, fuck it.
You're just going to end up hitting stuff and be like, fuck you. And just, well, there's a
I don't give a fuck.
There's a middle ground. There's a middle ground.
Like, you've gotten really rude at this podcast. Anyways, so I will literally have to step away and try to take a day or two to like talk to my therapist, and she will help me articulate what it is that I don't like about that interaction. And I've learned that now. So I will say, because I get very flustered when don't feel like I'm being heard, but I'm not articulating it well. So I don't blame the other person. You get what I mean? I'm not saying it well, but that's because I don't know yet,
Are you ever able to say, I can't figure out what this feeling is, I know I don't like it, and go on a 10, 20-minute walk and come back with answers? Or do you always go to your therapist for that?
Not always. I think when I'm really flustered in a conversation, it usually means that I need to have a conversation with her.
Could you give me an example of something that you got flustered and then an answer that you found?
I'm trying to think. It's usually in a relationship, like with a that I'm like dating someone.
Okay.
It's usually that.
I would really love an example, even if you fabricate some of it, just so I could.
Hey, hold on, I'm trying to think.
Sure.
We'll
be right back with a word from our sponsors. So make the right choice and visit Marshall Carpet One and Rug Gallery. And we promise, with more than 50 years as a family-owned business, we've got you covered.
And we're back. I couldn't figure out. I was bringing as a person that I was dating into a situation where they were going to meet my brother, and I can't give this one either. These are too personal.
Okay, that's
Sorry,
fair.
I can't.
That's fine. Once you find out what it is, are you able to use, like, are there analogous situations where now you already understand what that feeling is?
Plenty, for sure. I mean, I've been in therapy for a long time, so there's a lot of things now that I just know what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've practiced so much. But then if I'm getting flustered and my any sort of negative feeling that I have comes out in tears. I don't really get angry. I just cry.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. And so it comes out as sadness. So people are like, whoa, are you okay? Like, you're so sad, you're crying. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to get something out, but it's not coming, and that's making me cry.
Yeah.
So
That happens to my girlfriend, but it's with laughter.
really?
She was making soup, and she took some vegetables that were just like, you know, boiling vegetables,
Right.
And a little bit of the broth, and put it in a NutriBullet type thing, and blended it, but didn't let it cool down at all first. So the steam expanded it, and it blew up, and like it didn't. Luckily, it didn't. All the plastic didn't break, but the bottom it opened up, and all the stuff got onto her, and she's laughing. It's in the living room, and so I'm like, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "No," but she's laughing.
Yeah.
Like, "No, I'm not. Look at the mess I made." And then she keeps laughing. "Could you help me? It's burning." To take off my shirt, and she's laughing, and I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm like, I don't realize how much she's in pain. And then she goes, "Please, really, really." And then it took 5 or so seconds, maybe even more, before she started like. Her face like, oh, she's in pain. She had burnt, like, it was bad. Like, she had burns. We had to get stuff, and it was bad.
Ow.
And she was like literally laughing. I had I'll never forget that, and I'll know not to trust the
Right.
face thing. But I've learned to look at the face, you know. And
Yeah.
anyway, pardon the interruption, but it's just
yeah,
interesting
that happens. Sometimes your feelings come out in ways that
Right.
you can't control it.
yeah, it's just
I can't control.
emotion show, like people who laugh at funerals and stuff.
Right, exactly. Either you.
So whatever it is, you could be angry, whatever it is, but you're just crying.
Yeah, frustration, anger, sadness. I also get sad a lot, but like, yeah, I don't know.
So you were saying that you've learned certain things.
Like there's certain things that after being in therapy for such a long time, I have a lot of practice with, so I can identify them right away. It's usually I don't see my therapist anymore. I only really talk to her for these types of situations where I'm like, you know me, I can't figure out what I want and what was upsetting me about this situation. Can you help me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she knows me so well that she goes, here's what it was. This, and this. And then I go, oh my God, yeah, that makes so much sense. And I can go back to the person and go, this is what was upsetting me. I didn't feel like you were validating my needs because they're not your needs, but they're mine. So, you know what I mean? Like something like that, you know? I know, right? Like fucking phone. This is so fucking boring.
No, I'm joking.
No, I get it. It's boring.
Well, I feel that if I didn't snore, it's like
I would never stop.
It would have gotten to.
I would literally
and that's on
never
me.
stop.
I'm the asshole who's making her pee over in the bushes and snoring when I ask the question. That being said, I got you, and I want to make sure that I could get to some stuff that you're not going to want to talk about.
Okay.
I want to know what it's like having a mom and dad who are doing what you do and did it so well, and what type of help that they could give you. And I don't mean help like acting tips. I mean getting an agent or meeting with this. Like at this point, to be working consistently, which you are, that's not something they could do for you. But to give you that opportunity to start doing it,
Yeah.
you know, well, using a sports analogy, being Michael Jordan's son isn't going to get him into the NBA, but it's going to get scouts to come out and look at him.
Yeah, of course.
So I would love to know what type of, what are you laughing at?
It's just funny what type of things I got before. Like I know what you're asking. Like what kind of leg up I had.
Yeah.
Okay, easy. Agents and managers were immediately interested in meeting with me when they knew who my parents were.
And this is when you were 21, 22?
Yeah, and they had seen the closer. So that is
Were you in the closer?
Yeah.
And that's what you mean, saw you in the closer.
Yeah, but also is my name and that my parents are my parents. And that is fucking huge because there are so many talented people that's the one piece that they can't get. They can't get an agent, they can't get a manager. And they struggle for years. So, I mean, the fact that came easily.
What was the first agency you went to?
I'm still with the same one, Koner.
So you got an agent right away, having only done a guest star on something. And did you have a meeting with them, or did?
Yeah, I met with a couple, and yeah, I think I met with like 3, and then I decided to go with them. They're awesome. Amanda Glazer's my agent. She's awesome.
Shout out to Amanda Glazer.
But yeah, that is huge. I mean, I'm not saying that I got these jobs because I was good in the audition.
Yeah.
I can't, like, that's just true. I haven't gotten
You can't get
thousands of jobs, like, because I wasn't good enough or because I wasn't the right look or whatever. You know what I mean? So I know that I got these jobs because of the room.
Yeah.
But getting an agent right away is like, you can't get that unless you're the kid of a celebrity, unless you, I don't know,
I didn't get my
Instagram.
I didn't get my agent until after I booked Undateable. I needed to book a network television show before I could even get an agent.
Exactly.
It's very hard.
So skipping that step is insane. I mean, it's like something that I feel like it makes me feel like, God, there's so many talented people that can't get past that step. You know what I mean? And that sucks.
Yeah, but I wanted to talk on, like, you know, talk about basketball again. After games, they're actually trained to give political answers. You know, it's a team sport, and, you know, we did this, and, you know, if we weren't able to do it, we all blah 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 blah. It's like yeah, but like, talk about getting 50 points. Like, I want to hear that kind of stuff. So if I could take this for what you will, but almost like I'm asking you to just say that stuff, so you don't have to necessarily feel the need to say everybody's talented stuff. I want to hear like if my dad was some George Clooney, I would be asking, you know, admittingly, I would be asking him all the time, like, I want to meet with this person. I want to meet with this person. I want to do this. Do you ever do that? I mean, it's such a thing to take advantage of.
No, really, like, candidly, no, because it's inappropriate. It would be inappropriate for my dad to ask anyone to take a meeting with me. It's just, you just don't do that.
But why is it appropriate for your agents to ask people to meet with you?
They would ask in a way that was strategic. Like, if that's the thing about this business. Like, you know, they would say, do you want to have a general with her? Did you just those meetings? Like, if my dad like hit up some big director and was like, my daughter would really like to meet with you, that would be like so
that's different.
Inappropriate.
That's a lot of steps ahead.
Yeah.
But like, you allowed it with an agent.
I would never do that.
You did. You that's how you got your agent.
Oh, yeah. Well, because it's not as though my dad called them.
Well, how did you get that meeting?
I had a manager, but yeah, I mean, I had a manager from when I was younger.
Who used your parents?
Yeah.
So I love acting. I always want to act. I want to create my own stuff. I want to be a director. I love writing and directing especially. I was on the Rich Eisen show. I don't know if you know that show. It's one of the best football shows out there. It's sports shows out there, but it's predominantly an NFL show. And I went on there and to promote Undateable once, and I don't know anything about football, so we called my grandma because she's a huge football fan, and my grandma killed it. They ended up having me back on a couple times. My grandma even came and went on the show. I actually will cut to a clip.
Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. Rick Glassman, this moment has arrived. The moment has arrived for the television live studio appearance debut of Grandma Gloria Glassman.
Hashtag Grandma Gloria Glassman.
Okay. Good to see you, Grandma Gloria, here in Los Angeles.
I love Los Angeles. My kids live here, my daughter, my son-in-law, my grandkids, some of my grandkids, some are at home. And I love you. I want to tell you, you're my #1 sports show on the NFL channel and here.
Okay,
then I like Dan Patrick. And then after that, I like Mike and Mike, because Mike Golick's from Cleveland.
Okay.
And Greenie's Greenie. And after that, the rest is
Out.
out.
But I'm at the top of that food chain.
You know what? You're good. You're really good.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, because I know if you thought otherwise, you would also tell me.
I would also say that.
And she just destroys it, right? So cut to a year and a half later, the Cavs are in the finals, 2016, wearing the hat, and Rich Eisen calls my grandma for the week, for like 3 days out of the 5 days of the week, and then the following Monday, they call my grandma. And I don't even know about it until after my dad said Grandma killed it on Rich Eisen. And it was awesome, because my grandma's now in Cleveland, this little celebrity who's doing these sports shows, right? One of the times they called was while Jeff Schaffer, do you know Jeff Schaffer? He created the show The League. He's co-creator of Dave on FX. And I'm a huge fan of his he is one of the executive producers and writers, one of the big 4 EPs on Curb Your Enthusiasm. He directed, if not all, most of this new season, right? I'm a huge fan of his. My grandma's talking to him and talking to Rich, and they're making jokes, and then they hang up, and Rich says to Jeff, "You got to get her on the new season of Curb," and he goes, "Absolutely, we'll look into it." I immediately take that clip, send it to my agents, say, "Will you please reach out to Jeff? I'm glorious, blah, 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 blah." I end up getting breakfast with Jeff. We become friends. We talk. He reads something I wrote. We did improv games, notes, and he said that he'll come on this podcast once things come down. I mean, he's one of the 4 of Curb. I mean, he's unbelievable. I don't meet with him if my grandma doesn't talk to him.
Right.
I don't look at that as anything other than here's a door that's open for me to talk to somebody who I want to talk to. He could have said no.
Right.
A director could say no to Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, no, for sure. I wouldn't have my dad or my mom reach out for me. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a pride thing. I wouldn't I would talk to somebody if they were around. I mean, I would love to talk to somebody, or if me and my dad were working on a project that we were developing together.
That's what I'm saying.
Obviously his relationships would get us in the door, not fucking mine, because I don't have any. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't ask him, I wouldn't write a script and ask him to send it to somebody.
Yeah, there's
mini little
cheats.
backdoors. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think you just kind of figure out which ones are appropriate and which ones aren't. I wouldn't want to ask him for something that would make him uncomfortable, that would make the person receiving the message uncomfortable, that would make me uncomfortable. Maybe it's a pride thing, but if we were doing something together, I was working on a project with him, obviously he could get it made much faster than I could. You know what I mean? But I also wouldn't write something and then ask him to make all the calls.
I agree. Yeah. We're on the same page with that. But I feel that way when I'm asking people to do my podcast. There's a strategy to that. I don't like to ask people more than once. And if I do, it's a month or 2 later. Right. And I say, after the first time, I say to them, if they don't respond, or if they say, maybe another time, I'll say, "Do you mind if I follow up with you in a month?" I don't like doing that. But I still want to. I was on Bert Kreischer's podcast recently, and I told him this story I'm about to say to you, which was Betty's in town. Betty's at Starbucks. I don't know Bert. Bert lives near me. And she said, "Bert's here." Because she also saw Kalila at a yoga thing. I say that because you did Tiger Pelly.
Yeah, I know Kalila.
And she's like, "Oh, it's like a podcast day. I just saw her. I just saw him." And so I said, "On my way." And I didn't know what I was going to do, but I went to Starbucks in case we bump into each other. They'd be like, oh, hey, man, I'm Rick. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have, like, I put myself in this. I mean, it's such a shitty political move. And then coincidentally, he's with another friend of mine, Moshe. So then we ended up talking and blah, 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 blah. But I wouldn't be like, if my girlfriend were Kevin Bacon, I wouldn't ask him to say, hey, introduce me to Bert. But I would want to be with Kevin when Bert was around.
Yeah.
So you said if you were developing a show or a movie with Kevin, with your dad or your mom, it would be easy to do that. So I guess my sub-question to that would be, have you ever considered creating something with one of your parents for that reason? Do you even write? Do you like making stuff?
Well, I just wrote a script, but I mean, that's like, no, I don't think that I have any sort of ideas that I would want to do with them. Gotcha. No, I think it might be a pride thing, or I don't feel like, I was in a movie that my mom directed. I acted in it, and she asked me to do it. It's called Story of a Girl. And she asked me to do it, and I did it. It was a small part.
Right.
But no, I mean, I think if I was to develop something, I'd really want to do it on my own. I'm kind of like more like of a person that wants to figure out how to do something on their own.
Yeah.
Before, like, writing, like, I just wrote a screenplay, not because I want to get it made tomorrow or because I'm like super passionate about it, but just because I wanted to learn how to do it, and then by myself in a class, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then and then if I learn how to do it, maybe I write the next one and it's better, and the next one is better, and maybe that one I feel like I'm ready to try to get made, but they wouldn't be the first people that I went to. You know what I mean? Definitely not.
I think anybody listening to this would be on Team You and think what I'm suggesting is unfair or ugly or ridiculous. But the truth is, and you even acknowledged it before, being this the white privilege that you have, you've been comfortable accepting that. And no, this isn't a poo-poo. I mean, we all do it, and as thankfully this is being pulled out to the public, more people are realizing that they're doing it maybe without even realizing. But also, like, this business is so fucking hard, and like you said, there are so many talent. To work for 10 plus years, you have to be good. Mm-hmm. But if you look at a lot of the people who have a job, a lot of them aren't necessarily that great. And there are people who are much better, but either haven't had the opportunity because of they don't look a certain way, whether it be they're not pretty enough, they're not the right race, they're not tall enough, whatever the casting, unlimited amount of subjective things there are. You know, sometimes somebody can get a job because they have a beard. I mean, it's ridiculous. So we're always looking for a way to get the opportunity. For me, doing stand-up has helped me get jobs.
Right.
But where is it okay and where is it not? And I think what you're saying is respectful and great, but I'm just being completely honest. I wouldn't want to like throw anybody under the bus, but I would want to use any options I had.
Yeah.
But thinking about this, I would think if I wrote something and I feel like your mom or dad would be great in it, I would have a really hard time talking to you about it. Mm-hmm. I don't think I would be able to do that.
Yeah, because I think to a certain degree, there's a way that I don't know. I mean, there's such a stigma around sort of like asking someone to read the script because you think they would be good in it, as opposed to going through their agent or their manager. You know what I mean? And
what are you saying? You're saying it's better to go through the agent or manager?
It's more appropriate and professional.
Should I have asked your agent or manager for you to come and do my podcast?
No, because you and I are friends and we worked on a show together. That's different. But to ask somebody to be in your movie...
Well, your mom and dad are your friends.
Yeah, but I mean, like... Well, first of all, I've never had anything that I wanted them to do. But right. I mean, yeah, like, do I think that it would be uncomfortable for me if you came to me and said, I have this script and I think your dad would really be good in it. You have him read it? I would be like, no, here's his agent's email. That's uncomfortable for me.
That would be uncomfortable for me too.
Yeah. No, yeah. So you get what I'm saying. There's a certain way to do things and there's a certain way that you don't do things, and it's kind of fucked up, but it's like this sort of like thing that people know.
I think it's an empathy thing. I think if I would be uncomfortable in the reverse.
Right.
If I wouldn't like the reverse, that's how I am about podcast people. I mean, sometimes people ask to do my podcast, and I am very direct. I say no.
Right.
Or I say maybe later, or I say yes,
Right.
depending on what my truth is. But it does also feel like nobody needs to tell me they want to do it. Like if I'm interested, I'll ask.
Right.
But so because when people ask me, even though I'm able to say no, I'm not unaffected by it.
Right.
I do it anyway, but
Right.
it's still like, I mean, no, man, you
Yeah.
know, I only have people on who either have a certain following or who I have a personal relationship with.
Right.
Like, not that I wouldn't have had you on had we not done this pilot. I probably wouldn't have ever thought to ask you.
Right, of course.
But having done the pilot was like, I want to have you on.
Right.
And if I saw you in something and wanted to have, but it's just like, you need to have a relationship with somebody.
Yeah.
So when there's somebody who I want on my podcast who I don't have a relationship on, I've reached out to people who I've never met. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going on. I guess I get that.
No, it is. It's a odd distinction to make, but I think you just kind of know in your gut at a certain point what feels okay for you and what doesn't. And I guess another thing is that when people ask me to give things to my parents or to reach out to them or whatever, people have obviously done that to me a million times in the past. I'm like, I don't know what it is. It makes me feel like I'm spending my time doing some kind of work that somebody else is getting paid to do. You know what I mean? That's not my job.
That makes more sense to me because they're asking you to talk to your mom or dad.
Yeah.
There's a layer missing. I'm saying, like, if you wrote something, for you to ask your dad or your mom, they're doing it for you as opposed to
Right.
some stranger.
I would ask them to read it and tell me what they thought.
Sure.
And then maybe my mom has a production company now. I would ask if they wanted to.
Will they get me somebody to make sure my cameras don't keep turning off?
Yeah, let me call my mom right after this. No. If let's say I wrote something that I really liked, I could just go to them and go, "Do you have any interest in this?"
Yeah.
And they would feel totally comfortable saying no, move on, or yes. And then if we started to work together and I didn't feel like it was going well, I'd say, okay, I'm going to walk away. And everything would still be cool. So if I wrote something that I thought was valuable enough, I might bring it to her production company.
I think there's something to, like you're even saying, that's valuable enough. I think there's something to, like, when I feel like I'm asking somebody for a favor, I don't like doing it. But when I feel like I'm offering something to somebody.
Right, exactly.
Like, yeah, there is something to, like, when people are promoting something, me asking them to come on the podcast is easier because I think they're getting a value. Like, they're being offered something too. Yeah. Is this annoying me talking to you about this kind of stuff?
No, not at all. I'm really just trying to figure out in my own head what the distinction is for me. I think we are like piecing, we are getting to what it is.
I think there's a big difference between me asking you to ask your mom and dad something
1,000%.
versus you asking your mom and dad
for sure
to do something.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, I just don't have anything that I would want them to do.
I think that's the big difference. I'm coming from a place of, like, I have a cartoon that I'm pitching, a movie that I'm writing, a show that I wrote, and I'm always, like, thinking about who to talk to and how to get people involved. I guess, like, coming from like wanting to create something space as opposed to just like general meetings, and I guess there's a little difference there.
The only thing that I would do is if I felt, after I spoke to my manager and she read what I wrote and she said, I think a good place for this would be your mom's production company if you want to go that route, then that I would do. But if I was doing something in a cartoon space or something totally different than their sort of like mission and what they do, I would be like, what's the point? It's not a good fit. You know what I mean? I'd rather go my own way.
Yeah, same page with you on that.
Like, I know what they do, and I would know if something that I did matched what they do. You know what I mean? And then if it didn't, they can't make calls for me. It wouldn't do anything, is what I'm trying to say. If I felt like, okay, well, I have this, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, it did get you an agent. It did let you leave Brown for semester should you have chosen.
Yeah, for sure.
It did let you get your first co-star. So it's almost
Totally.
like you get to pick and choose when you'll allow the nepotism.
Yeah.
When one would, not necessarily just you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just an interesting thing, like, why is there shame in accepting it? But at the same time, of course that's not fair to accept it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very, very open about that. All those things are true. Like the only reason why I feel uncomfortable talking about it ever is because I never ever want, like, I hate the idea that, like, I want to acknowledge those things before I accept any sort of, like, accolades for my work. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, hey, just so everyone is reminded, I got this first before other people that deserved it just as much, just because of my parents, just because I'm white, just because I grew up with money, just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to acknowledge it before.
Is that kind of like how in the end of 8 Mile when Bunny Rabbit went up first and he said, I am white, I am a fucking bum, I do live in a trailer with my mom. And that way Clarence is unable to then attack him with anything because it's like, I'm not ashamed of these things. I want to acknowledge them.
I wouldn't say that I'm not. I mean, I don't know. That's some deep shit. But yes, it's exactly the same. No, I have no idea.
How often do you get people making jokes to you non-ironically about degrees away from Kevin Bacon?
Probably like when everybody was going out and about and I would go to the movies and stuff, like a lot. Maybe like once a week.
Do you laugh it off?
Sometimes, but then if it's somebody that annoys me, I'm like, first time I ever heard that one. Something like that.
When I'm talking to people and if I'm doing jokes and stuff, before I would do something, I will anticipate how easy this thing is that I'm saying. How I've talked about this on podcasts, but I have this theory that all jokes exist in the world already. I'm not coming up with any jokes. I just see it. It's like these things exist. Oh, I see it, so let me borrow it for a minute. And now here's this thing. So I try to, before doing something, how camouflaged was this thing? And if it was that easy to be said, it's been done enough times to where I can't do it. And I'm very judgmental about people who, there's nothing wrong with seeing something, but to see something and act as if we didn't see it too,
yeah.
I get like, come on, dude. It would be as if like we're walking in the woods and I go, look out, there's a tree right there. It's like, yeah, man. You know?
In the fucking woods.
Yeah, fuck
so
you.
So you have the same sort of thing as I do. To sort of like disclaimer whatever your talent is or whatever. To put a disclaimer on it. This already existed. I just figured out how to put it together.
Yes. I mean, from a macro standpoint, yes. But I think those are two separate things. I think you're more. I want to make sure that you know that I know as a safety, which I also do connect with. But the other thing is more that like hey man, you're not that great. Like if somebody were to if we're playing basketball and then you score a layup and then you go, eat my fucking dick, motherfucker, and it's like, man, you scored two fucking. Are you kidding me? Yeah. And then there's a judgmental part of me that is.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
I guess the inverse would be this. I remember the first time I dunked in a game was at a JCC, and I dunked on a guy who we didn't like. There was like this bullshit beef that we had with this guy we see every couple of weeks, And I dunked on him, and all my friends were, oh! Yeah. And inside, I'm just, oh! But like I wanted to act like this is what I do. And it was manipulative and not real, but like I didn't celebrate it. I was cool. It's walking away from explosion without looking. It's bullshit. But there was like this, probably an insecurity about like I don't want to look stupid by celebrating of something cool that I did.
Right.
But that's. So, but the Kevin Bacon thing, I don't know if it's just that was the year or that was my age. Maybe people did it forever, but in middle school for years, people would play the Kevin Bacon game. And it's just like, I didn't have enough points of reference and I don't remember people's names to ever really participate in it. But it is a part of pop culture to me because of how often I would hear it.
Right.
That the first thing I thought of when I saw that you got cast on it was, oh, I'm 1 degree, or I don't know, is it 1 degree or 2? What would it be? 1 degree was
I
if
have
I
no
know
idea.
him. No,
No.
1 degree is you, right?
I don't know the rule. I don't think it has to do with knowing him or anything. I think it has to do with working in the city. Like,
It's how many degrees could you get away
so
from Kevin
since
Bacon?
I've worked with him and you've worked with me, you're 2 degrees.
Well, you 1 degree.
1 degree.
Oh, I thought it was, I guess worked with.
I think it's worked with. That's why when people are always like, you're related to him, you're 1 degree, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know the rules. I don't know whether being related, like, is this a real game? I've never played it. Is
Yeah.
it like a?
Well, it is a game, and I've also never played it because I don't know enough references.
That's the thing. I'm always like, how would people fucking play this game?
And
like,
why did they pick him? Why is it Kevin Bacon? Why isn't it degrees from
I have no idea.
You know,
I guess because he was in a lot of movies. but,
Samuel L.
like,
Jackson?
Well, white privilege right there.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of it. So, and when I booked the show and I talked to some friends and family about it, probably 25% or more said, blah, 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 degrees away from Kevin Bacon. So it was like, man, that's right there. So I have to imagine you get it all the time.
All the time. And I really don't know the rules, and I've never really played it. So I just don't know what to say to people when they say that. I'm like, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. Well, I think that's it.
Is that it?
I think so. Was this? I had a really good time.
You did?
I did.
Are you being serious, or are you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I had a good time too.
And I think it's so funny that you went over the balcony, and I'm curious to see what type of judgment I'm getting for that.
What do you mean? I really don't give a shit.
I believe you don't.
I was so happy that I got to pee. I'll climb on the balcony to get out, so we don't have to do the whole sock thing.
Keep the socks. Perfect.
I just got a free pair of socks, motherfuckers, and a cookie.
I will say, and I think I'm being defensive now. I'm gonna say it just to admit what my defensiveness
Okay.
was. But full disclosure, this isn't covering up anything. I know that. If you had to pee and you didn't, I believe that you were totally fine with that, and I thought it was funny. I would have figured out a way of putting towels down or something.
No, totally. But really, from the bottom of my heart, that was fine for me. I didn't mind. I thought it was fun. And I think it will probably... Did you see me jump off? Did I just disappear?
It was on camera. I'll see how we get it. But I was
Okay,
going to
good.
get my phone at that point.
No, I mean, I was totally fine with it. I'm not bothered at all. You can tell your mom.
Okay. She'll watch it.
You can tell your mom. Your mom is hilarious. No, I'm really excited. We've been trying to do this for a while, and I'm fairly certain I asked you if I could be on your podcast.
I believe you. I
was
don't
one of those
remember.
annoying people that asked you. If
I
could
want to
be
get the
on
whole
your
cast
podcast.
on this podcast.
Yes.
I think that would be cool. I actually thought when we're filming how cool it might be to bring my equipment to set so I could not only do full episodes, but bring in some crew and people that asking them questions. And like one episode that doesn't have to necessarily be one person. It could be one of the on-set episodes.
Exactly. I can't wait to shoot if it ever happens.
I'm very excited. I had Joe Montana on already.
I know. I saw that.
He is,
He's just the sweetest man ever.
when we were doing the Zoom,
Yeah.
and we find out that the show's picked up, he said, "You're gonna make an old Italian man cry," which is so sweet. But then to see him really
I
getting
know.
like so emotional because of how important the story
It
is to
was
him.
like insane. And also, just for the record, although I hate Zoom, that call was very moving and special and exciting. And like seeing him get so emotional over it was like, oh my God, that makes me feel like, it's something special that people really want to see and need to see. And I think it's like an important show, as like annoying as that sounds. I do, I think it will touch people, like I really do. So
I believe it could be. I don't know if that's I don't really.
of course, we haven't made it yet.
That's not. I don't look at the show the way that you're saying and the way that Joe definitely does necessarily, because I can't visualize any type of impact necessarily it could have. But out of all shows where I don't know, this is very honest, well done, and also I'm such a huge fan of Jason Katims.
I know
that it's just. Oh, I bet this could be a really.
Yeah.
I've never been in a part of something where I realistically fantasized about, are we going to win an Emmy? You know what I mean? And I'm still not thinking necessarily we're going to win an Emmy. But I have thought a bit of... I've been fantasizing since I moved out here, if not before, late award acceptance speeches and late night appearances, not stand up, but like on the couch.
Right.
And I just have a list of bits and things that I want to do and games I want to play.
Yeah.
And then for the first time with this show, where it's like, is this something? Because like the Israeli version won a whole bunch of Israeli Emmys.
Oh, really?
And I don't know if it's called that. Maybe it's called like a chatu or whatever. But it said in the thing Israeli Emmy. And I started thinking like all these things that I want to do. I'm a comedian, and I want to fall up every step. You know what I mean? Like I just want to do big bits. I want to cue the orchestra early.
Right.
So I have to. I also want to. You know what I mean? I want to do all these things. But if I win this,
it's the bits. It's the bits.
and am I responsible to be the voice of a drama, to be the voice of autism, where I have to go up there and not? Will I be making fun of autism if I go up there and I mean, this isn't something I really thought this is what I'll do, but how funny would it be if I go up there and say, I'm so nervous, I've always been worried that if I pissed my pants during one of these things, and then I pee my pants, and then if you look when I'm walking off with a thing, you could see that I pissed myself. Is that
now they're gonna know you're handshaking?
Yeah, people who watch this, they'd already like the pants piss.
I mean, people who knew you, but the thing is that that's the thing. If dramas like that reach such a broader audience that they might not know that you.
Right.
They'll be like, oh.
Yeah, like you don't know if I'm having a goblin, you're jerking off 2 goblins and they're pooping on your hand or not. But the people at home know, oh, of course he's going to have him jerk it off.
Right.
So if I'm going in front of if I go in front of this group of people who know me as this autistic guy only and not as somebody who does goofs, and then I go up there and I trip all over the place, are they going to be
It'll be incredible because it will really confuse people, and watching people trying to be like nice and like not judgmental.
Oh,
and
that's
like
the most fun.
It's going to be amazing. They're going to be like, oh, okay, like maybe this is just because, you know what I mean?
There's something about people treating you a certain way because blank that is so condescending. Like being on our show and everybody being super nice. There is something, I love it and it's all great. There's something a little condescending because why wouldn't you be that way here? Right. And I could tell some of the people that were probably just, like I think they hired, people were just very maternal and paternal on that set. And I know a lot of people that worked on it had autism involved in their life in some way. And I think they cast that way on purpose. Mm-hmm. But when people find out that somebody has this or is this way or, oh, I'm so, and their voice goes up and it's like when you talk to a baby and, oh, you're such a big girl. Like, they're not going to understand you better now because you're talking to them like they're an idiot. So when people are, there's something where I feel like, fuck you. Yeah. And I want to highlight the fact that they're treating me or they're treating somebody a certain way, not because it's proper, but because they're either being watched or they're supposed to. Anyway.
Because they know something about you that makes them think that you're not going to understand, you know what I mean? Just normal conversations or fucking with somebody or like, you know what I mean? The second that I met you, I was like, this dude's sarcastic as fuck. So I know I can be sarcastic. You know what I mean? That's just what?
Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
No. Go.
I want to tell you a story about what happened when I was testing, and I won't tell you who the person was.
Oh, my God.
I don't care about telling you, I guess, but I don't want to put him on blast. Right. And I've also heard he's a super nice guy. So during the test, there are 9 or 10 people going in for the 3 roommate roles, meaning there are 9 or 10 actors who are on the spectrum. I have to imagine before we all got there, everybody was informed that, there are some special needs for some of these people that may not be intuitive to you. So just like, here's what they are, which is great. So we do it where there's 3 roles and again, 9 or 10 people. So there's groups. I go in with these people, then we'll mix and match. And during that mix and match, there are 6 to 7 of us in holding, waiting for an hour or so. Like we were there for all day, right?
Yeah.
So then there was a moment where I had already worked with these people, and they brought in people to play Chris's role and your role, right? To do these scenes with us, and they're reading from the script, and they're not auditioning. We are auditioning, and we've learned the lines and we practiced this.
Yeah.
So I'm already working with these people for an hour, doing multiple takes, and there isn't much conversation, but there's a how you doing, nice to meet you. I didn't say I wasn't drooling all over myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking to him, and I'm just a fucking person, man. Same with everybody else who's there. We're just like people talking, and some people are weirder than others. There's some swaying, and there's some jokes that maybe have too many words in them.
Right.
But it's like we're all just people. So now I'm in the room and I'm eating my food, and I'm the only person in the craft services basically room, and the guy comes in, very nice guy, did scenes with him, very good actor, blah 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 blah, and he picks up some turkey and he rolls up the turkey and he takes a bite of the turkey, no bread because he's a hot guy, and I said, whatever it was, we started a conversation like
He's the person who's reading with you.
right.
Okay, got it.
And had done the scene with me, and we talked on the side. Yeah, man, fucking. How about
Whatever
How about
you
the
say. Yeah.
football is they got to be careful. And now we're in the room where it's just us, and I go, how's it going? You got to say stuff like that, otherwise I'm rude. And then he goes, good, man. It's coming along. I got to say, and I was talking about this with some of the other actors. You guys are so good. And I said, because that's, thanks. What about, whatever. Thanks, man. And he goes, no, seriously, man, it's inspiring. And he tapped me on the shoulder and left. And I couldn't believe it. I wanted to say, thank you. What? And his intention was great. His intention was, also there's a world where he's an actor, he's been acting, he knows how nerve-wracking tests could be. He's not testing, I'm testing, and he was just wanting to be like, and that's what I took with the "you're doing great." Mm-hmm. But to say inspiring, oh, you know what he said? Here's what it was. Here's the first one. It was the "you're doing great." Here's the one where I go, oh, where he said, seriously, he said this. He said, I was talking to the other actors, and we were saying like, you guys are even better than us.
No, he didn't say that.
And
no,
and it's like
way.
It's like, well, yeah, we should be. I've been practicing this for a week. You're not even off book. You're not Daniel Day-Lewis.
That is so obnoxious.
So that's where I was like, oh, he's being condescending without realizing.
Well, it's also like
it.
putting like you're that way and we're this way, and I should give you that pat on the back, like you're even better than me, as if that's supposed to make you feel good.
I'm starting to get uncomfortable now in case he sees this and I'm talking shit.
I want to know who it is.
I don't know. There was a few people there, so maybe he won't even know which one he was.
It's fine.
Maybe.
Fuck him. He just said something annoying. He should get called the fuck out for it.
The point of this is people don't realize they're being condescending when they go, hi, how are you today? And it's just like...
I know. It's like, God, why can't we just talk to everyone?
And if I am...
as people.
If I am worse in something than you... which, and just to be politically incorrect, less than, if I am a less than actor, if I am a less than communicator, if I am more awkward or weird or whatever, but there are things that I am better than you at.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
That's the same. I'm a less than athlete than most people. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yet you said if you scored a layup, you would say, fuck you.
I could never score a layup. So if I did one time score a layup, I might actually be like, fuck you, bitches. Yeah.
And for me to go through, look, I was talking to some of the other players. We actually thought you score layups even better than us. It's like, okay.
In that situation, I would actually be like,
right.
That's a compliment because I'm terrible at sports.
And that's also implying that we're surprised because I'm so much better. Clearly, I'm better than you. So for me to say, at basketball, I can confidently say I'm clearly better than you.
Clearly.
So, but what he's saying is you're even better than us. He's saying that the implication is that he is so much better than me that they were shocked.
As a person, like that he's superior.
At least as an actor. I don't know everything. I mean,
you gotta tell me who this person was.
Maybe. Now, again, I'm starting to feel bad.
Actor?
You know what? No.
It's like, yeah, you suck. That's why you're reading.
I happen to actually genuinely think he's a good actor, and I happen to think that he gets the roles he gets. He is a charming, good-looking guy. he's cool. He's a cool, good-looking guy that works.
God, I can't wait to text you after. And ask you
Yeah,
what it is.
I was telling the story more like how ridiculous it is, and as I told it, I started to feel like, oh, I'm kind of speaking poorly about someone, and I don't like that.
Okay, well, the good news is you could always edit it out.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I just, by telling you, it makes me feel like. But the point is, if I go up on, stage, or when I go until late night and play some type of character that is weird, and people don't get it, here's a real thing, and I know I already said we're ending this and I'm talking more, so thanks for staying, whoever's here. But I have this insecurity, and I talked to Jason about this, where I don't often feel comfortable talking about the autism diagnosis. Much better now because I've accepted what I'm about to tell you, or I've gotten closer to it at least. But people have their understanding of what autism is. Oftentimes, ironically, they think they have their understanding and they don't. That there's a saying that you meet one person with autism, you meet one person with autism. Everybody is different.
Yeah.
And I am worried, I still am, but was, and this is why I talked to Jason about it, that, if you meet me as a kid, I am tapping things, I can't leave the house, I'm touching things, I'm doing my rituals, I keep doing the smiling thing, I'm weird, I can't read facial expressions, I'm making jokes, I'm like, there's something going on, right? As I've gotten older, and thankfully through comedy, I've developed these inefficient tools to deal with it, and post-diagnosis, I've learned even more, and, I've talked to, when I remember my best friends, they're a married couple, and when I told them the diagnosis, one of them said, yeah, we knew, and one of them said, no, you're not. And that's the point that I'm getting at, is like, I don't like this responsibility of having to be the voice of or explaining what autism is. I happen to have become quite educated in it, but even then, I'm only as experienced as I am.
Right.
Here I am now on a show telling a story that is important, where I am becoming, if the show gets any popularity and it actually works and I don't get fired from it, whether I like it or not, a voice for it. There's this type of responsibility that I'm uncomfortable with, that is like, I don't know, man, I can only tell you what I know.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally. And that's why I think I think that actually relates a lot to what's going on in the world right now, and sort of this idea of asking, of taking a step back as a person who is white or doesn't have autism or whatever.
Has famous acting parents.
Yeah, exactly. But taking a step back and not being the person that's trying to talk about these things with any expertise,
right.
Instead allowing the people that have the lived experience to talk about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just to listen. And I think to listen to you talk about having autism, for me, no matter what you're saying, it's interesting to me because that's your lived experience. The same way that, you know what I mean, anybody else would, you would have a question about having famous parents that I would really be the only person that I would be able to answer for you. But for me, it would be I don't know. I have no idea if this is how anybody else felt. But you know what I'm saying? So you've lived that experience. So I don't know, regardless of trying to make a point of it, it's important for people to listen so that they can hear your... But
conversely, me going out into a public forum, I feel different with my podcast. It's my podcast. Right. People see a lot of things. But
how can you distill your experience?
Well, how do I have to explain that this is mine, not... So when I go on and people are asking me about autism, if I'm doing any press for it, yeah. I will have to find a way of explaining up top, I am not a spokesperson for this. I could only tell you my experiences. So, hold on, sorry. I was watching Conan the other day with Sam Richardson. Do you know Sam? Mm-mm. Sam is one of the funniest people in the world. He is, did you watch Veep? Mm-hmm. He's the black guy on Veep, the nerdy guy on Veep. And he's a black guy. He's lived a life of being a black person. And he is experienced at being a black person.
Right.
But he even said at the beginning of Conan brought up, you were a bit trepidatious before accepting or wanting to come on this. Why is that? And I totally got it. Sam said, about himself, I feel that there are people who could speak more eloquently and who are better educated in some of this stuff that's happening right now, and it's so important that this stuff is out. And he's explaining all the reasons that I understood of why he maybe felt like he's not the best person to say it. And then he said, but ultimately I decided to come on because my experiences are still as a black person and very valid, and you're my friend, and I am comfortable talking about it. What I noticed in that was not only did Sam explain that, which I understood and would have maybe even thought, just as a comedian, we think that way. But I also feel that Conan, being as amazing as he is, either they talked about it beforehand or he intuitively picked up on the fact that he felt that Sam would be more comfortable if he kind of briefed the audience beforehand of saying, like what you do, I know that I got the agent because of my mom, and I did this. Let me get this out of the way. And there's just something that like we kind of have to say, I may not be the smartest, but, even though it sounds like an insecure thing, you kind of...
No, I don't think it's insecure.
Me neither.
I think it's more of like saying, I get this, I see this, I'm aware of it.
Right.
And therefore, I'm speaking from a place of being aware of that and knowing those things before I speak. You know what I mean? And it's completely different with me and with you, obviously. But I don't think that that's an insecurity, and I don't think that you should ever be called out for that. I think that that's saying, like, I'm just saying I'm not the voice for all autistic people. This is my experience, and I hope that you understand that.
But to have to, when you're doing press and EPKs, you're asked the same questions 50 times, and I like to just be free with that and always play and do different stuff. To have what feels like might be a scripted intro to all of these things, I feel that I would be only doing that to save myself, and I don't like that feeling. I don't like feeling I have to explain something. And it's quite a conundrum because if I don't explain it, I feel insecure that I'm selling. Or that people think that I will. And as much as I normally don't worry about what other people think, that's only the case if I don't think that way.
Right.
But because I know, like, I don't know. Like, I would be watching. I know that I am a judgmental person, and I am judging myself.
Of course.
On that, there was a long time where I, after the diagnosis for like 5 months, I felt like I was a superhero, and I have this is why.
Right.
All these things that sucked. It's just all one thing. And even though I might be here with this, I'm here with this, and it made it like I'm proud of it. It was almost an identity for a little bit, where it was like, well, Rick, you feel this way, but you're supposed to because of this, and you got kicked out of these things because you didn't understand this. And then after a few months, there was about a year where I then started calculating how other people were receiving me, something I never did before. And it was so depressing because I kept having to check in and ask questions. People say, are you okay? Are you mad at me? Ugh, like now I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
But I didn't know because people were checking their watch and they weren't telling me that they didn't care about the time. They were just bored.
Right.
So then I was in this great depression for this long period of time. And then I realized I'm never going to know what people are thinking. Just do your thing.
Yeah.
So now I'm in phase 3 of I don't want to tell you what's going on with me, but I'm not worried about what you think. Now here I am on a show where I'm going to be talking about it, and it's just, I can't say I don't want to talk about it.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know. You'll figure it out. That'll be phase 4.
Yeah, I think I'll figure it out. I would be grateful for the opportunity to have to figure it out.
Yeah, there you go. Then you everything is a learning curve. I mean, everything. Just even, acting, everything. It just takes time and experience to figure it out.
There's something different about the stakes being me, and I could be aware of the selfishness and say it doesn't matter, versus this idea that people, not me, but other people, may see me as a voice for something.
For sure, and
I don't have any experience with that.
I don't think that I could understand what that's like because
me neither.
Yeah, so I think that will be unique to your experience with it.
A lot of athletes are speaking up and have been since, especially since I think 2016 or so with the original Black Lives Matter movement. some people aren't speaking up, some people are speaking against, some people are speaking for. And I have multiple feelings on this. I don't believe that people should be forced to being activists. I think that, I've had people, I get a little grossed out by, I've had people reaching out to me because I have been sharing things on social media that resonate with me. So I share them. And I have people reaching out to me asking, oh, should I share that? Or what do I post? And it's like, I don't think they're bad people, but it's like the intention to post, not because you think it's important to share, but because you think it's important for people to see you share.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it helps. It helps that they're doing it. Mm-hmm. So it's okay. It's better than them not doing it. And I'm cautious of talking about it in the Black Lives Matter movement because this is not for me to speak on. So let me say, admittingly, yes, I'm talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm also talking about Me Too movement. I'm also talking about animal activists, anything that is trending, where people aren't talking about it until they have to. On one hand, they may not be aware, and that's the point, but like this virtue signaling thing. Mm-hmm. The point I'm getting at is, am I talking too much about this?
No.
What are you going to say, yes?
No.
Especially now. Am I talking too much about things that...
Just attack.
When people... So the point I'm making is, as a black man, I don't feel that if you don't post the black box or share this story, you're in the wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. As a black man, if you were a black man?
I'm saying as a person.
Okay.
Black, white, or whatever the other ones are. I don't remember what else there is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But the main two.
Yeah.
Gonna get in so much trouble for that. But whatever your ethnicity is, you should share things because it matters. Not because the thing matters. Not because the camera's on you.
Right, exactly.
That being said, when the camera's on you, efficiently share the things that matter. And I'm also, this isn't my own, now it's not my own opinion because I have coincidentally seen my buddy Lamorne posted something, reshared something on this too, which was like, educate yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think what is becoming problematic about the fact that this is becoming a trendy thing to talk about, in my opinion, and post about, is that people are, instead of white people and a lot of white women, instead of reading a book, reading an article,
right,
educating yourself on being anti-racist as opposed to just not racist, checking in with a black friend to see if they're doing okay right now because this is a very traumatic time, reading, you know what I mean, any of these things. Instead, they're going to like black activists on Instagram and asking them to explain their experience and what they can do to help. And it's like, okay, wait, like, be quiet for a minute. Try to educate yourself before you are asking black people who are going through a lot right now to help you out. This isn't the time for that. You know what I mean? This is the time for you to be quiet, stop posting about how great your life is, and go do some research on your own. And by doing research, then you won't be posting because you want to show you're posting. You're posting because, oh my God, I didn't realize this. Right, exactly. Here's something I learned. Exactly. And if you want, and if you can't, if you don't want to go out into the streets and protest, which I completely understand. Guilty. That some people, if you don't want to, or you feel like worried about COVID or whatever, fine. But, but you're posting to donate to things. I'm like, how many people are posting that you should donate who didn't actually donate themselves? I know. Or are posting to sign a petition who didn't actually, you know what I mean? It's like, like black people are putting themselves at risk over and over again, and so are a lot of white people. But it is this sense of performative activism that I think is becoming a little bit toxic on the internet. It absolutely is. It also discredits the movements themselves. And this is particular with corporations more so than individual people. But seeing
I mean, there's so many that are coming out. I know L'Oreal was one of them, but the biggest one for me is the NFL, where they were fining people for peacefully protesting because they're fucking racists. And then when it's trendy to be pro-black,
Exactly.
and also, and I don't know if this is a you know, what I'm about to say, if this sounds ignorant, but this is absolutely the truth. The NFL should have always been pro-black. The NFL,
right?
out of
It's
all
like-
places, the NFL doesn't exist. I mean, so many things. I saw a cool post that it was an empty record shelf. And it said, this is what my record collection would look like without black artists or people inspired by black artists. And there'd be nothing there. So I guess this
nothing,
is more than the NFL. So much. But
I mean, culture, just American culture in general. It's just, it doesn't exist without black people. That's just true. And then white people steal it from black people and then sell it back to them.
And then when they fucking say, I got so mad. I don't know why I was mad. I guess it's because I can't punch the NFL. You don't get to say this. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they should say it because everyone should say it. But fuck, that's so... How are you today?
Yeah.
That's so fucking condescending. And it takes away... Anyway.
And so, like, some of the activists that I'm following have said, you know, have said this to black people. It's okay to feel both things right now. Both relieved that finally young white people might be showing up for once for your lives, and to also be frustrated that they didn't do it before.
Yeah.
Like, you can feel two things at once, and those two things
Right.
can be true at once. And, like, I think that, I mean, I don't know, I don't mean to, like, get on a soapbox because what the fuck do I know? But I do understand the distinction that you're making, for sure.
They're admitting there's a lot of things that are coming out now, which I think is really beautiful, of white people saying, wow, I never realized all of these things. I admittingly I became aware of these in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as stuff is being brought to light now, I feel like I've been in the know for 4 years as opposed to my entire life as a black person would know. But I remember when it first happened, the reason when I first started to realize what this was, I always knew racism existed. I have had prejudice against me as a Jewish person. I haven't had it as a lot of people have. I didn't get called a kike until I'm like, you know, college. I didn't grow up in my formative years being all these things, right? But what I first realized was when the first time the Black Lives Matter movement happened, black friends of mine started to share stories that they never, at least to me, never shared. Little ones. Things of them going and people looking at them a certain way, or them being pulled over multiple times. And, you know, and I remember as a kid watching, and I would cry to it. And I wasn't able to fully connect to it, but I remember crying both in Family Matters when Carl didn't believe. Did you watch Family Matters? You know, the show is? Mm-hmm. Carl Winslow is a black police officer in Chicago, and Eddie, the son, got in trouble with some stuff, and he lied his way out of something, as teenagers do. And then there was a moment where he got a ticket or he was in trouble for blah, 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 and the police officer made him get out on the ground and face down in handcuffs, and he did it because I'm black. And Carl didn't necessarily believe him yet. And Eddie was like, why don't you believe me? He's like, because you make excuses and blah, 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 blah. This is the A story. After commercial, Carl investigates. He goes down to the coffee shop. He talks to the two white police officers. He pulls up a coffee, and he's cool as shit. And I mean literally pulls up a chair and sits with the back of the chair in front of him, you know, like cool teachers do, like they're holding onto the top. He orders a coffee, and he looks to the waitress when he orders it. She's like, how would you like it? He looks to her, he goes, black. And it's like, yeah, he's in. Mm-hmm. And he's talking to cops, and he's like, well, he was in the wrong neighbor. You know, he's like, oh, well, he should have said he was a police officer's kid. Oh, you're just, I could go on and tell you the story. It doesn't matter. The point is, I'm like, fuck these motherfuckers, you know? And then he comes back and Eddie is crying. Why didn't you believe me? And then they hug and I'm sorry. And this happens. And this is life. And, you know, and he's like, we'll go and make a report. And then he's like, that's it. All we're going to do is make a report. And I remember being so mad at those people. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm talking so much. So turn it off now. But I was so upset. And then especially in Fresh Prince, I say especially because that was my show, when Carl and Carlton who grew up in Bel Air and had all these experiences, where this privilege that he had, never experienced the stuff that Will, who was from the mean streets of Philadelphia, experienced. And Will, it knew what was happening, and Carlton didn't understand what was happening. And to see it affect him for the first time, lost it. It wasn't until the first Black Lives Matter movement happened where I was like, oh, this isn't TV. And I was asking so many questions, and I rewatched the documentary 13 or whatever it's called for the 13th Amendment recently. But I remember I watched it then, and I would ask so many. I felt like I was able to ask questions because people weren't exhausted with it because it was years and stuff. And my friends, 2 years later, I'm able to ask questions of things I never realized before. And now what it feels like, and I maybe I'm wrong, but when it seems like people are getting so mad about it's not for me to educate you, I think it feels, and I don't know, but is it maybe that it feels like we're busy right now?
I think that's what it is. I think it's like it's a time for Black people to have this. They need the space to organize and to change these policies, and time to process trauma, and it's like, I'm busy, you know what I mean? Like, I have too much going on. I'm actually fighting for this, and I've been fighting for this my whole life, and I have to deal with it every day. And because you're just coming around, it's not the moment to have a conversation about it. It's not my responsibility to educate you on it, because, by the way, in my opinion, it's like, there are so many fucking books that you could read. You don't need, like, you can check in with, I don't know exactly, but how I feel is like, check in, ask if a person of color or not a person of color on the streets who's protesting needs any of your resources, if you can do anything to help or whatever. But to ask them for something right now, it just feels unfair.
It would be like being on set and asking, while the director is doing a million things, asking him or her about questions about how to be acting. And it's like, you got to take a class, man.
Exactly.
You got to take, it's not my job to do this.
Exactly. Take a class. Okay, but my ears hurt so
I
badly.
understand. Yeah. Also, tell people we could comfortable bring up your Instagram and stuff, and I put up on the screen.
Instagram is at Sosie Bacon.
On the microphone.
My Instagram is Sosie Bacon. It's not. That's it. That's all of it. I'm gonna jump over now.
Do you have everything?
Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'll see you on set if we ever shoot it. Looking around here, you'd think, sure, she's got everything. All right, that's it.
Scoot doo, blabbity blue, scoop dee.
And then when we're going to come back, will you look at your camera, snap, and say, and we're back?
No.
Oh yeah!